It is a pleasure to accompany you on this journey into such deep and tranquil reflections. I hope this story offers you moments of profound serenity and insight. Let your mind be guided into a world of peace and contemplation as we begin. The heat of the North African sun is a physical weight, pressing down upon the labyrinthine alleys of Fez. It is the year 1340, and the city outside is a chaotic symphony of merchants shouting their prices, donkeys braying against the stones, and the relentless, searing glare of the desert sun. But here, tucked away behind a heavy, unassuming wooden door, the world changes. As you step inside, the roar of the marketplace vanishes entirely, replaced by the cool, grounding scent of damp earth and ancient plaster. You have found it, a sanctuary hidden from time itself, where the only thing that matters is the steady, heartbeat-like rotation of a wooden wheel. This is more than just a studio. It is a space where the noise of the world is forgotten, and the master's hands begin the patient hypnotic work of coaxing form from raw, unshaped clay. The air inside this small, enclosed courtyard studio feels heavy with tradition. The thick stone walls act as a thermal buffer against the intense heat outside, keeping this room perpetually cool, a silent oasis shielded from the dust and chaos of the city. Light does not flood this space, it filters in, hesitant and soft, through a single high window near the rafters. It falls in a golden dusty shaft, illuminating the center of the room like a spotlight on a stage. There, sitting on a worn wooden stool, is the potter. He moves with a deliberate, practiced economy. Before him sits the wheel, a primitive, beautiful contraption of dark, polished wood. The bottom wheel is heavy, reinforced with iron bands, and it rests against his bare feet. With a gentle push, he initiates the motion. The wheel begins to turn, a quiet, insistent rotation that anchors the room. It is the pulse of the space, a mechanical heartbeat that has dictated the pace of life for centuries. As the wheel gathers momentum, the potter leans forward, his hands already damp, hovering over a mound of clay that looks like dark, wet marble. He is not in a rush. In fact, time is not measured by the sun outside, but by the turning of the clay. Watch how his fingers find the center. He does not force the clay. He guides it. He invites it to balance. As the mound begins to spin, the wobble settles, the clay smooths, and the surface takes on a liquid, shimmering quality under the filtered sunlight. There is a deep, profound security in this movement, a sense that everything in the universe is exactly where it is supposed to be. The atmosphere is thick with a sensory calm. You can smell the minerals in the wet earth, a sharp, clean scent that clears the mind. The repetitive, wet movement of his palms against the spinning vessel creates a continuous, soothing acoustic backdrop that wraps around you like a heavy, comforting blanket. There is no urgency here, no pressure of the modern world. There is only the clay, the light, and the slow, steady rhythm of the kick wheel. As we spend this time together in the workshop, let the worries of your day drift away like dust caught in that beam of light. Breathe in the coolness of the room and breathe out the tension. Feel the weight of the day lift as you lean into the quiet. You are safe here in the heart of Old Fez, watching the oldest story in the world, the shaping of something new from something simple. Let the hypnotic spinning of the wheel draw you deeper into a state of total peace. The walls are thick, the world is far away, and for the next few moments, nothing exists but the transition from chaos to form. You are an observer of an ancient craft, a witness to the patience that built this city. Each rotation of the wheel is a promise of stability, a testament to the skill of hands that have spent a lifetime understanding the temperament of the earth. As the shape begins to rise, growing taller and thinner under the potter's touch, let your own mind expand and soften, mirroring the clay's quiet transformation in the dappled afternoon light. As the potter continues his work, the silence of the courtyard deepens, becoming a tangible element of the room. This is not the hollow silence of a void, but a rich, textured quiet that feels as though it has been accumulating within these stone walls for centuries. Outside, Fest continues its frantic pace, but in here, the tempo is set by the slow, deliberate rotation of the wooden wheel. The potter's eyes are locked onto the clay, his gaze steady and unwavering. He is a man who understands that true beauty in pottery does not come from haste, but from the rhythm of the process. He treats the mound of clay as if it were a living thing, something that requires his complete presence and gentle guidance. Each movement he makes is an extension of that philosophy. Notice how his arms are braced against his knees, creating a rigid yet flexible tripod that translates his inner stillness into the clay. When he begins to open the center of the clay, his thumb descends slowly, carving out a space within the mass. It is a subtle, almost imperceptible shift, yet it fundamentally changes the nature of the object. What was once a solid, impenetrable lump is now becoming a vessel, a container for potential. This transformation is deeply satisfying to watch. It suggests that even the most stubborn or solid parts of our lives can be opened up, refined, and given purpose if we only approach them with the right amount of patience and steady pressure. The filtered light from the high window shifts slightly as a cloud passes over the sun, turning the golden beam into a softer, diffuse glow. The shadows in the corners of the studio deepen, further isolating this space from the rest of the world. You are invited to sink deeper into the comfort of this isolation. There is a profound sense of security in knowing that for this hour you have no obligations other than to witness this act of creation. The worries that followed you into this day, the deadlines, the expectations, the noise, find no purchase here. They slide off the smooth walls of this studio, leaving you unburdened and clear-headed. Observe the texture of the potter's hands. They are calloused and mapped with lines, the hands of a man who has spent his entire existence working with the raw materials of the earth. There is a raw intelligence in how he interacts with the clay. He knows exactly how much moisture it needs, how much pressure will cause it to collapse, and how much it can withstand before it loses its integrity. He is a master of boundaries. In his work, we see a mirror of our own need for balance, a constant calibration between holding on too tight and letting go too completely. He maintains the middle path, the place where the clay is neither too dry to hold its shape nor too wet to stand tall. As the wheel continues to spin, the vessel begins to take on its character. It is wide at the base, flaring out slightly, a form that speaks to the need for stability and grounding. The potter pauses for a moment, simply watching the rotation. His hands remain closed, a resting presence that encourages the clay to hold its form. During this pause, the stillness of the room becomes almost hypnotic. You might find your own breathing matching the slow, steady rhythm of the spinning wheel. With every breath, you feel yourself letting go of any residual tension in your shoulders or your jaw. The scent of the wet clay seems to intensify, a grounding, earthy fragrance that reminds you of the deep connection between humanity and the ground beneath our feet. This is the oldest human story, retold every time a hand touches mud, a story of reclamation and grace. The potter's fingers return to the clay, and the rhythm resumes, tighter and more fluid than before. With each pass of his hands, the walls of the vessel rise, growing thinner, more delicate, and more elegant. There is a sense of inevitability here, a feeling that this form was always meant to exist, and that the potter is simply acting as a conduit for its emergence. As you watch, you might feel a similar process happening within yourself, the clearing away of excess, the refining of your focus, and the emergence of your own inner strength. If you find yourself enjoying this journey into the calm heart of history, Please consider subscribing to our channel to join us for more restorative storytelling, where we explore the quiet corners of the past to help you find peace in the present. The clay is now glistening, slick with water that catches the light like a trapped star. The potter works with a level of focus that is absolute. He does not look around the room. He does not acknowledge the dust motes dancing in the shaft of light. His entire world has shrunk to the diameter of the wheel. This intensity is not stressful. It is profoundly calming to witness. When we see someone truly devoted to their craft, it reminds us that we too can find such focus in our own lives. We can choose to be fully present, to move with intention, and to treat our own tasks, no matter how small, with a sense of reverence. The studio feels increasingly like a sanctuary, a place where time has slowed to a crawl. The sounds of the outside world, if they exist at all, are so distant that they no longer register as anything more than a soft, rhythmic thrumming in the background. The primary sound is the low, consistent drag of the wooden wheel on the stone floor, a sound that acts as a metronome for the mind. It is easy to lose yourself in this sound, to let it guide you into a deeper state of relaxation. Imagine the coolness of the air on your skin, the way it settles against your arms as you sit here in the shade. Imagine the smell of the damp earth, so rich and primordial, filling your lungs and grounding you in the physical reality of the moment. As the vessel grows, the potter adjusts the speed of his foot. He is listening to the clay as much as he is feeling it. There is a silent communication between the man and the material, a dialogue built on decades of mutual understanding. The clay resists, then yields, it wobbles, then settles. It is a perfect metaphor for the way we navigate the challenges of our own lives. We must acknowledge the resistance, hold our ground, and wait for the moment of alignment. Nothing here is forced. Every action is a response to what the clay needs. This is the lesson of the potter's wheel. Surrender to the process and trust that the form will emerge in its own time. You might feel the urge to close your eyes, to let the visual of the spinning clay imprint itself on your mind and then drift away. Do so. Let the rhythm become the only thing you hear. Feel the weight of the day falling away from your limbs, piece by piece. Your feet are planted, your back is straight, and your mind is clear. You are participating in a tradition that links you to ancestors who sat in these same sun-baked rooms doing the same work, finding the same peace. This connection is deep and enduring. It is a reminder that we are part of a long, unbroken chain of human experience, a stream of quiet creation that has flowed through history, unaffected by the noise of empires or the passage of years. The vessel is reaching its full stature now, a slender, graceful form that seems to defy the heaviness of the mud from which it was born. The potter slows the wheel even further, his hands moving with the grace of a dancer. This is the stage of refinement, where the broad, thick walls are sculpted into fine, translucent layers. Every movement he makes is an act of editing. He is removing everything that does not belong to the essence of the jar. This process of subtraction is perhaps the most meditative part of the entire experience. It reminds us that often the most beautiful things in our lives are not those we add, but those we are brave enough to let go of. By stripping away the excess, the potter reveals the true elegance of the work, just as we might find our own clarity by letting go of the anxieties and complications that crowd our thoughts. The light in the courtyard shifts again as the sun begins its slow descent toward the western walls of the city. The beam of light filtering through the high window elongates, casting long soft shadows across the stone floor. The atmosphere in the room has transformed. The intensity of the morning has given way to the gentle, introspective stillness of the late afternoon. This is a time for reflection. The clay, now shaped into its final form, rests for a brief second as the wheel carries its momentum. It is a moment of perfect equilibrium, where the object is neither raw material nor finished product, but something suspended in the space between You can feel the potential energy in the room, the sense that something significant has been achieved through nothing more than patience and steady movement. There is a profound comfort in witnessing such deliberate craftsmanship. In an age where everything is rushed, where the value of an object is often measured by the speed of its production, this quiet, slow motion creation feels like an act of rebellion. It is a slow, rhythmic protest against the demands of the world. It teaches us that there is intrinsic value in the time we take to do things well, and that there is a deep, soul level satisfaction in committing oneself to a task until it is finished to the best of one's ability. The potter's back is straight, his breathing is steady, and his heart rate is surely as calm as the waters of a sheltered bay. He is not fighting the time. He is working with it, using it as a tool just as surely as he uses his hands. Notice the way the light catches the rim of the vessel. The potter's fingers trace the edge, rounding it off, ensuring it is smooth and inviting to the touch. This attention to detail is what separates the functional from the beautiful. It is an act of love, a quiet, unspoken promise that the vessel will serve its purpose with grace. When we apply this same level of care to our own lives, when we take the time to smooth the edges of our interactions, our work, and our relationships, we create a sense of harmony that ripples out. We become like the potter, shaping our own environment into something that provides comfort and utility to those around us. As the wheel spins, you may find your own perspective shifting, becoming broader and more accepting of the slow, natural cycles of life. The air in the workshop feels cooler now, almost crisp, carrying with it the faint scent of the coming evening. There is a sense of completion in the room. The work is nearly done, and there is a quiet, settled feeling that comes with the knowledge that the effort has been well spent. The potter is still, his eyes closed for a moment, listening to the fading hum of the wooden axle. He is savoring the stillness, allowing the result of his labor to settle into the world. You are invited to savor this moment with him, to hold on to this feeling of serenity as long as you can. Let it anchor you, providing a sense of stability that you can carry with you long after this experience has ended. The spinning has slowed, the wheel is beginning to rest, and in this quiet moment of transition, you are perfectly, undeniably at peace. With the vessel finally shaped to his satisfaction, the potter reaches for a thin, taut wire. He holds it with the same gentle precision that guided his hands on the spinning clay. With a single fluid motion, he draws the wire beneath the base, slicing through the connection between the pot and the wooden wheel head. There is no sound of struggle, only a soft, clean resistance as the wire glides through the cool, damp earth. The vessel remains standing, a silent earthen monument to the last hour of labor. While the wheel beneath it gradually loses its momentum, the spinning begins to falter, the frantic speed dropping away into a rhythmic sway, and eventually the rotation ceases entirely. The room feels suddenly profoundly still, as if the world itself has held its breath to honor the moment of completion. The potter leans back, his muscles relaxing for the first time. He wipes his hands on his apron, leaving behind streaks of gray clay that quickly dry into a fine dust. He looks at his creation, the tall, elegant curves, the perfectly symmetrical rim, the way the light catches the slight moisture on its walls. He does not say a word, and no words are needed. There is a deep, unspoken satisfaction in his expression, a quiet pride that speaks of a lifetime spent in pursuit of this exact feeling. In this moment, the studio is not just a room in Fez. It is the center of the universe. Everything has led to this point, and everything that follows will be informed by this stillness. You too can carry this sense of completion with you. Whatever tasks you have laid aside today, know that there is a time for effort and a time for rest, and that both are essential parts of a balanced life. He stands up slowly, his knees creaking, and walks over to the corner where a shallow basin of water sits. He rinses his hands, the water turning cloudy and dark as the clay washes away. He watches the sediment swirl, a tiny reflection of the mountains and rivers from which this earth was mined. The cycle of the clay is a cycle of life. It begins in the ground. It is shaped by human intent, and one day it will return to the dust. This is the truth that the potter lives by every day. He understands that nothing is permanent, and that this recognition is what makes each act of creation so precious. By accepting the fleeting nature of our work, we are freed from the fear of failure. We do what we must with as much heart as we can muster, and then we let it go. The sun has now dipped below the high window, and the shaft of light that once illuminated the wheel has retracted into the rafters. The room is bathed in the cool bluish tint of twilight. It is a time of soft edges and deep shadows. The potter begins the ritual of cleaning. He gathers his tools, the wooden ribs, the sponges, the wire, and places them back into their designated spots with methodical care. He respects his tools as he respects his materials. Every object has a place, and every action has a purpose. This sense of order is soothing to the soul. It reminds us that even when our inner world feels like a whirlwind of emotion, we can create outward order to help anchor our thoughts. A clean space leads to a clean mind, and a steady routine leads to a steady heart. As the studio darkens, you feel a lingering sense of gratitude. You have spent this time in the company of a master, observing the silent, powerful process of turning nothing into something. You have felt the coolness of the walls, smelled the scent of the wet earth, and allowed the rhythm of the wheel to calm your nervous system. You are now prepared for rest. The day is winding down, and the world is settling into its nocturnal cycle. Carry the silence of this courtyard with you as you prepare to close your eyes. The potter is resting now, his work finished, his hands clean, his mind at ease. You can do the same. Sleepy History with Arthur is a sleep history storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. Let these images of old fares, the cool air, and the turning wheel be the last things you think of as you drift into a deep, restorative sleep. The clay is set, the day is over, and you are finally peacefully at home within yourself. The shadows in the studio have now fully surrendered to the deep indigo of a desert evening. The potter stands in the dim light, watching the final traces of moisture evaporate from the surface of the clay vessel. It is a slow, almost invisible process, much like the fading of a dream as one wakes from deep sleep. He does not hurry to cover the pot. Instead, he stands in the quiet, breathing in the scent of cooling stone and earth, letting the day's work integrate into the fabric of the room. This is a time of transition, a bridge between the intense labor of the day and the restorative silence of the night. You can feel this shift within yourself as well. The easing of the mental burden, the slowing of the pulse, and the settling of the spirit into the comfort of the present moment. He walks to the heavy wooden door that leads out to the alleyway. For a brief second, he pauses with his hand on the latch, listening to the muffled sounds of the city of Fez as it too begins its transition into the night. A distant call to prayer echoes through the maze of stone, low and resonant, blending perfectly with the stillness of the studio. It is a haunting, beautiful sound that marks the end of the daily cycle, a reminder of the millions of souls who have lived, worked, and found peace within these same walls over the course of centuries. You are not alone in this space. You are joined by the long, silent lineage of those who have sought refuge from the world in the quiet art of creation. The potter steps out briefly to latch the outer gate, and for a moment the moonlight spills into the room, illuminating the dust particles that have been kicked up during the work. It is a magical, fleeting sight, gold and silver dancing in the dark. He returns quickly, the door clicking shut with a final secure sound that seals this sanctuary from the outside. He moves to a small alcove where a simple oil lamp rests. With a strike of flint, he lights the wick and a warm amber glow blooms into existence. The light is soft, flickering, and intimate, casting long, dancing shadows against the plastered walls. It turns the workspace into a cozy, womb-like cavern, warm and inviting. He sits back down, not at the wheel, but on a woven mat spread near the center of the room. He pulls his knees to his chest, wrapping his arms around them, and allows his body to fully release the tension of the day. This is the posture of true rest. You can mirror this release. Wherever you are, whatever surface you are resting upon, allow your muscles to soften. Let your feet drop open, let your fingers uncurl, and let your jaw release its grip. The work is done. The clay has been shaped, the sun has set, and there is nothing left to do but breathe. The atmosphere in the room is one of absolute safety. The thick stone walls hold the heat of the day, radiating a gentle warmth that soothes the skin, while the cool evening air presses against the exterior, creating a perfect balance. As the lamp flickers, the light traces the lines on the potter's face, highlighting the deep, peaceful concentration that has defined his afternoon. He is a man at peace with his contribution to the world, however small it may seem. He understands that, by creating beauty, even if it is just a simple jar, he has added to the sum total of human grace. This is the essence of his existence. As you drift closer to sleep, consider the things you have shaped in your own life, the kindnesses you have shown, the work you have completed, the patience you have cultivated. These are your own clay, molded by the steady, rhythmic pressure of your character. Sleepy History with Arthur is a sleep history storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. Rest now, comforted by the knowledge that your efforts, like the potter's, are meaningful and enduring, leaving their mark in the quiet, steady turning of the world. The lamp in the alcove continues its slow, rhythmic flicker, a steady heartbeat of light in the deepening dark. The potter has long since ceased moving. He remains seated on the woven mat, his breathing synchronized with the soft, barely audible crackle of the oil. In the corners of the room, the shadows are thick and velvet, cradling the tools of his trade in a quiet embrace. The wooden wheel now still seems to hold the memory of its motion, a dormant energy waiting for the return of the sun. It is in these moments of total stillness that the spirit truly recovers. The body, having been exerted and focused throughout the day, now finds its deepest state of repair. Every muscle fiber that was tense with effort begins to unravel, stretching out and sinking into the floor with a heavy, satisfying weight. Imagine the feeling of sinking into a deep, soft bed of cool, pressed earth, where the temperature is perfectly regulated by the density of the stone walls. You are completely insulated from the demands of the city. Outside, the labyrinth of affairs continues its life, but it has no entry here. The heavy wooden door is barred. The windows are high and recessed, and the air is still. This is your sanctuary. There is a profound sense of security in this enclosure. You are protected, held in the quiet, and given permission to release all thoughts of tomorrow. The tasks that once seemed urgent, the list, the expectations, the social obligations are revealed for what they truly are: temporary, manageable, and ultimately capable of waiting. The potter's mind, much like your own, is likely drifting. Perhaps he is thinking of the clay he prepared earlier, imagining how it will feel under his hands when the light returns at dawn. Or perhaps he is simply letting his mind go blank, savoring the luxury of not having to choose, not having to judge, and not having to create. He is simply existing. There is a sacred quality to this pure existence. In the modern world, we are often defined by what we do, but here, in the dim golden light of a 14th century studio, we are defined only by our presence. You are enough just as you are. You do not need to produce, to solve, or to perform. You only need to breathe, to rest, and to allow the stillness to wash over you. The scent of the room has evolved as the night deepened. The sharp mineral smell of the wet clay has mellowed into something deeper, earthier, a scent of ancient stone, dry straw, and the faint sweet residue of the oil lamp. It is a scent that speaks of history, of the thousands of people who have walked the same path and sought the same peace. This is the air of human continuity. You are a part of that chain, a link that connects the past to the future through the simple shared act of seeking rest. Feel the cool air against your cheeks, the gentle weight of a blanket of calm settling over your shoulders. The world is spinning on its axis, moving through the vast, quiet space of the night, and you are perfectly safely placed within that motion. Let your mind wander away from the details of your life. Do not try to hold on to any specific thought. Let them rise and fall like the smoke from the lamp, vanishing into the darkness above. If a worry tugs at you, observe it, acknowledge it, and then imagine it being smoothed away. Just as the potter smoothed the rim of his vessel earlier today, it is gone now. There is nothing left to hold. The room is quiet. The night is dark and peaceful, and the cycle of creation is at rest. You are floating in a sea of tranquility, drifting further and further from the shores of wakefulness, carried by the slow, steady rhythm of your own breath. The journey is nearly complete. Soon, the landscape of the workshop will fade entirely, leaving you in the soft, dark comfort of a dreamless, restorative sleep. The darkness within the studio has become absolute, save for the dying embers of the oil lamp, which now cast only a faint pulsing warmth against the nearest wall. The potter has shifted slightly, his silhouette a soft rounded shape against the texture of the plaster. Every breath he draws is long and measured, a silent testimony to the restoration of his own vitality. You are encouraged to adopt this same pace. Let your own inhales lengthen, and let your exhales be a slow, gradual release of everything that remains of your day. There is no need to count the seconds or track the time. Simply allow your physiology to mirror the stillness of this medieval haven. The heavy stone walls continue to provide a protective, womb-like barrier against the unpredictability of the outside world, creating an environment where nothing can touch you and nothing is required of you. This sense of security is the foundation upon which true rest is built. In our modern lives, we are often plagued by a persistent low-level anxiety, the fear that we are forgetting something or that the world is moving too fast for us to keep up. Go out here, in the heart of Fez, that anxiety loses its power. The city, with its complex trade routes, its political shifts, and its bustling markets, feels as though it belongs to a different universe entirely. Inside these walls, history is static. Time is not a resource to be managed by a river that has slowed to a tranquil pool. You are resting on the bank of that pool, watching the current settle. The peace you feel is not a temporary reprieve, it is an inherent quality of this space, and you can tap into it whenever you close your eyes and recall this image of the sun-baked studio. The memory of the clay remains strong, not as a burden but as a soothing tactile sensation. Recall the way the material yielded to the potter's touch, the coolness of the moisture, the way the spinning wheel brought order to chaos. That same potential for order exists within you. When your thoughts feel fragmented or your emotions feel scattered, remember the potter's patience. You do not need to solve the puzzle all at once. You only need to focus on the immediate, simple, and rhythmic action in front of you. By narrowing your focus, you regain your control, and by trusting the process, you allow the best outcome to manifest on its own. This is the wisdom of the craft, and it is available to you in every moment of your waking and sleeping life. As the lamp begins to sputter, casting final, dancing patterns on the ceiling, the atmosphere grows even more intimate. You are sinking deeper into your own consciousness, moving away from the external world and toward a quiet internal landscape of dreams. Everything that happened today is becoming a distant, fading echo. The sounds of the market are gone. The heat of the sun is replaced by a gentle, lingering warmth. The effort of your labor is replaced by the ease of complete surrender. You are safe, you are held. You are drifting in a space that was designed for exactly this purpose, to help you find the peace that the world so often denies us. If you appreciate the sanctuary we have built tonight, please consider supporting our mission to bring such calm to the world by subscribing to our channel and sharing these stories with others who may need a moment of reprieve. Sleepy History with Arthur combines the power of AI to reimagine fictional historical tales, bringing peace, relaxation, and positive emotional values to our listeners. The light is now almost gone, leaving only the faintest glow in the room. This darkness is not empty, it is full of comfort, a soft velvet backdrop that invites you to finally close your eyes completely. Let your eyelids grow heavy, the muscles around your eyes softening until they are completely relaxed. Let the rest of your body follow suit, your hands, your legs, your core, all dissolving into the floor. You are a part of the history of this studio, a fleeting but significant presence in the long ancient story of Fez. The potter is asleep, the work is done, and you are ready to join him in the quiet, restful embrace of the night. The final ember of the oil lamp has dimmed into a soft, glowing coal, casting a faint, warm aura that barely touches the floorboards. In this near total darkness, the studio has transformed from a place of work into a temple of pure, undistilled rest. The senses, no longer needed to monitor the environment for movement or change, begin to turn inward. There is a profound silence here, a silence that is heavy, sweet, and ancient. It is the silence of stone that has been shielded from the winds for centuries, the silence of dust that has settled into the cracks of history, and the silence of a mind that has finally set down its heavy load. You are enveloped by this atmosphere, and it feels as though the room itself is breathing slowly and rhythmically in harmony with your own resting body. The potter remains a silent guardian in the dark, his presence providing a sense of companionship without the need for interaction. He is part of the architecture now, a fixture of this peaceful scene, his breathing a steady, reassuring sound that punctuates the quiet. There is immense power in this companionship. It reminds you that you are part of a shared human experience, a collective effort to find meaning and beauty in a world that can be overwhelming. You are connected to Him and to all those who came before Him by the simple, beautiful necessity of needing to rest after a day of purposeful action. This connection is a lifeline, a gentle thread of empathy that pulls you toward a state of profound emotional safety. In this deep state of relaxation, memories of the day's earlier sights begin to dissolve into abstract impressions. The golden light through the high window is no longer a specific visual but a feeling of warmth against the skin. The wet, rhythmic slapping of the clay is no longer a specific sound but a soothing, hypnotic pulse that resides in the base of your spine. The tactile sensation of the smooth, spinning clay has become a sensation of infinite softness, a feeling of weightlessness as you release the need to control your physical boundaries. Everything is blurring, the hard lines of your awareness, softening until the edges of your thoughts become indistinguishable from the quiet dark of the room. There is no longer a distinction between the studio in 14th century Fez and the space where you are resting now. The time and the place have merged into a single eternal now. In this space, the past is not behind you. It is a foundation upon which your current peace is built. You are supported by the collective history of all the moments of rest that have ever occurred. You are resting on a bedrock of tranquility that stretches back through generations, a steady, unshakable support system that is always available to you whenever you choose to reach for it. Trust in this foundation. Feel how it holds you, how it absorbs your weight, how it promises that you are allowed to stop, to cease, to simply be. As the last traces of the light fade entirely, the darkness is not cold or intimidating. It is refreshing, like cool water on a summer day. It is the color of deep velvet, a protective curtain drawn across the stage of the world. Behind this curtain, the scenery of your life, the worries, the plans, the echoes of the city, is being rearranged in silence. You do not need to oversee this process. Your mind knows what it needs to do, just as the potter knew how to guide the clay. It will discard what is not necessary, it will refine what is valuable, and it will shape your inner state into something centered and strong. Trust in this subconscious work. Allow yourself to slip away from the surface of thought and descend into the calm, deep, dark water of sleep, where you are safe, where you are understood, and where you are finally completely at peace. The studio has now been claimed by the deepest hours of the night. Outside, the city of Fez is blanketed in a stillness that feels nearly heavy enough to touch, as if the ancient stones themselves are holding the city in a gentle protective grip. Inside the workshop, the darkness is absolute, a soothing, cool embrace that renders all physical features invisible. You are no longer looking at the studio, you are feeling it. The coolness of the air is like a soft invisible sheet pulled up to your chin, and the silence is a physical presence that calms the racing patterns of the mind. In this state, the boundaries of your body seem to soften, as if you are becoming part of the very air in the room, dissolving into the quiet history of this place. The potter is long lost in the depths of slumber, his existence reduced to the simple rhythmic act of drawing breath. You are traveling the same path, moving away from the complex identity you carry in the waking world. All the titles, the roles, the responsibilities, and the narrative threads that define your daily life are falling away like leaves in autumn. They are not discarded, they are simply set down, left outside the door of this sanctuary where they will remain until you choose to pick them up again. For now, you are stripped down to the essence of your being, a soul in need of rest, a spirit that finds its home in the absence of demands. There is such profound freedom in this, an exhilaration that you might only notice as a subtle sense of weightlessness. Remember the sensation of the clay spinning on the wheel, that moment of perfect, frictionless rotation. Let that feeling become the inner architecture of your mind. If you find your thoughts trying to stir, simply visualize that smooth, wet surface spinning in its perfect circle. Any thought that arises can be placed upon that wheel, held for a moment and then allowed to glide away, smoothed out by the passage of time. There is no need to resolve anything tonight. Problems are just unshaped lumps of clay. They will be there tomorrow, and you will be fresher, clearer, and more capable of handling them after this period of deep replenishment. The universe is not asking you to finish anything tonight. It is asking you to let go. The air remains scented, with the faint residual perfume of damp earth and the cooling oil from the lamp, a fragrance that has become the signature of this safe harbor. It is a scent that acts as a sensory anchor. Whenever you encounter the smell of earth or the feel of something smooth and cool, you can bring your mind back to this studio. You can return to this exact feeling of being tucked away, protected and entirely at peace. This is your mental sanctuary, a place you have built with your own imagination, reinforced by the stillness of the medieval night. It is portable, unbreakable, and always ready to receive you when the world feels too loud or the burdens feel too heavy. As you drift further into the quiet, notice how your breathing has become effortless. It is no longer an action you perform. It is an automatic, natural rhythm that links you to the steady, turning heartbeat of the planet. You are in perfect sync with the night. The stillness is not an empty absence. It is a full, rich presence that nourishes you. You are being held by the history of this space, by the thousands of years of human experience that have culminated in this moment of quiet. Sleep is not a departure from reality. It is a return to the deepest, most authentic part of yourself. You are drifting, turning, settling into the soft, dark current that will carry you through to the morning, and there is nowhere else you need to be. The deep stillness of the night in Fez is now absolute, a thick and velvet darkness that cocoons the studio in a protective, silent layer of time. Every corner of the room, once defined by the sharp edges of pottery tools and the rough texture of stone, has softened into the shadows. The air is cool, carrying the faint, grounding essence of the earth, a scent that seems to permeate the very fabric of your being. You are drifting in a space where time has no meaning, a place where the seconds have stretched into infinite calm pools of presence. There is no urgency here, no pressure to perform, and no need to be anything other than what you are right now, a quiet soul seeking the restorative power of rest. The potter is gone, not in body, but in the sense that his labor has reached its completion. He has surrendered to the night, and in doing so, he provides you with the ultimate permission to do the same. If you have found comfort in this journey through the shadow alleys of medieval history and the serene focus of the potter's craft, please join our community by subscribing to our channel and sharing this peaceful experience with those you love. Your support is the bridge that allows us to continue crafting these moments of stillness, inviting more hearts into our sanctuary. By choosing to follow us, you help create a global circle of quiet, ensuring that the legacy of peace continues to reach those who need it most. As you settle deeper into this darkness, imagine the sensation of the wheel's rotation once more. But this time, it is not a physical movement, but a mental one. Visualize your awareness as a smooth, perfectly balanced vessel, turning in a vast, dark space. As it spins, any residual stress or lingering tension from the day is simply cast off by the centrifugal force of your own calm. You are shedding the weight of the day, letting it fall away like dust from a potter's hands. You are becoming lighter, more fluid, and more capable of true deep rest. The darkness is not a void. It is a medium, a soft, holding substance that supports your weight and shields you from any remaining influence of the outside world. There is a profound sense of safety in this enclosure. The thick walls of the workshop act as a barrier against all that is chaotic, loud, or demanding. You are tucked away, hidden from the gaze of the city and the passage of the hours. You are in a private oasis, a place where your nervous system can finally shift from the high alert state of the day into the restorative, low frequency rhythm of the night. This is the biological and spiritual homecoming that sleep provides. You are returning to your true state, the state of simplicity, of formlessness, and of absolute peace. Every breath you take now is deeper than the last, drawing the cool, earthy air into your lungs and circulating it through your relaxed muscles. There is no resistance in your body. Your shoulders are heavy, your fingers are loose, and your mind is an expanse of gentle gray shadows. You have traveled far from the heat of the Moroccan sun to this cool, sheltered sanctuary of the night, and you have arrived exactly where you were meant to be. The transition to deep, dreamless sleep is now effortless. You are floating on the current of the history of this studio, a participant in the oldest of human traditions, the act of laying down one's burdens and surrendering to the grace of the night. You are safe, you are still, and you are ready for the stillness that is to come. The darkness within the workshop has reached a point of perfect, crystalline clarity. Even in the absence of light, your mind can map the space with absolute certainty. The coolness of the stone wall against your back, the solid weight of the floor beneath you, and the lingering comforting scent of damp, mineral-rich earth that hangs in the air. This space has become more than just a setting. It is a mental refuge, a physical manifestation of the peace you have cultivated throughout this journey. There is no distinction left between the studio and the state of your own consciousness. You have successfully shed the outer layers of your day, the identity that required effort, and the mind that demanded solutions. What remains is a quiet, steady, and entirely untroubled core. Think of the way the potter's hands moved over the clay, always with intention, yet never with desperation. They move to encourage, to guide, and to wait for the material to respond. Your mind is now engaging in that same delicate dance with your nervous system. You are encouraging your body to relax, guiding your thoughts towards stillness, and waiting for the natural heavy tide of sleep to arrive. You do not need to force yourself to fall asleep. That effort itself would be a barrier. Instead, you simply trust that the rhythm is already established. You are the potter and you are the clay. You are the one who is holding the space, and you are the one who is being shaped by the process of letting go. In the silence, notice the subtle sounds of the building itself, the settling of ancient stone, the faint sigh of the cool air moving through the rafters, the distant, muffled echoes of a city that has long since gone to sleep. These sounds are not disturbances, they are the texture of the environment. They remind you that you are part of a larger, living structure. You are held within the history of Fez, nested inside a tradition that has survived for centuries. This gives you a sense of perspective that is deeply stabilizing. The problems that felt insurmountable this morning are, in the grand scale of this history, remarkably small. They are like the tiny grains of sand within the clay, present, perhaps, but ultimately part of a much larger, beautiful, and enduring form. As your awareness continues to deepen, the sense of time begins to vanish entirely. You are no longer in 1340, nor are you in your own modern era. You are in the eternal now, a place where the only thing that exists is the current slow cycle of your own respiration. This is the place where healing happens. In the absence of temporal pressure, your body can direct its resources entirely toward repair and renewal. Every cell, every muscle, and every neuron is responding to the environment of calm you have created. You are literally building yourself anew, layer by layer, just as the vessel was built on the wheel. You are shaping a version of yourself that is rested, centered, and ready to meet the future with grace. Surrender completely to this feeling of being held. The studio is your sanctuary, and it is a space that is entirely under your control. No one can enter, no one can make demands, and no one can disturb the profound velvety silence that has been established here. You are the master of this room. You have done the work. You have completed the journey through the alleys and into the light of the workshop, and you have earned this rest. The darkness is a soft, comforting blanket that is pulling you deeper into the interior of your own mind. It is a warm, inviting descent into the quiet, and you are ready to let go of the last remaining threads of your wakeful state. You are drifting into the deep, calm waters of sleep, where you are safe, where you are at home, and where you are finally completely still. The atmosphere within the sanctuary has shifted from the quiet of the evening into the profound oceanic stillness of the dead of night. Every element of the studio, the high small window, the rough-hewn wooden door, the wheel tucked into its corner, has become a familiar, comforting landmark in the geography of your mind. You are no longer navigating by sight, you are navigating by a sense of deep internal equilibrium. The air is exceptionally still, cooling with the natural progression of the dark, and carrying that familiar grounding scent of the earth that seems to permeate your very consciousness. This smell is your anchor. It is the sensory bridge that connects you to the physical reality of the studio. Yet it also serves as a portal to a state of complete mental detachment. You are here and yet you are floating, untethered from the immediate environment. Consider the rhythm of the night. Outside in the labyrinthine alleys of Fez, the pulse of the city has completely vanished, replaced by a silence so absolute that it feels as though the entire world has come to a stop. This is a rare, precious pause in the history of human existence. You are privileged to be resting in this space, a witness to the profound tranquility that exists when the demands of life are stripped away. There is a sense of immense, overarching security in knowing that you are tucked away within thick, protective walls. No light can penetrate this space, no sound can breach its perimeter, and no expectation can find its way to you. You are in a vacuum of peace, a space specifically engineered to allow for the total dissipation of stress. Focus your attention on your own body, observing how the process of surrender has transformed you. Your breathing is no longer a conscious effort. It is a slow, rhythmic tide that ebbs and flows with the natural cadence of the room. Your limbs, heavy and warm, are perfectly supported by the surfaces beneath you. Any lingering tension in your jaw, your forehead, or your shoulders has been dissolved, replaced by a sensation of liquid-like softness. You are effectively melting into the history of the room, becoming as neutral and as calm as the clay that rests upon the workbench. You have no need to move, no need to speak, and no need to think. You are simply existing in a state of pure, unadulterated comfort. This is the goal of your journey. You set out to find this quiet corner of the 14th century, and now that you have arrived, you have realized that it was never a location to be found, but a state of mind to be cultivated. You are the architect of this piece. The potter, the wheel, the sunlight, and the shadows were all symbols, mirrors for your own capacity for stillness. By witnessing them, you have unlocked the same capacity within yourself. Now that you have arrived at the center of this experience, feel the richness of the silence. It is not an empty, hollow silence. It is a dense, fertile, and restorative substance. It is the raw material from which tomorrow's energy will be fashioned. As you lean further into the embrace of this night, permit yourself the final absolute release of all remaining anchors. If there is a part of your mind that is still holding on to the day, let it go. If there is a part of your spirit that is still calculating or planning, let it fade. You are drifting on a sea of dark, soft velvet, heading toward the horizon of a deep and dreamless sleep. The stars above Fez are shining through the high, arched window, casting tiny, imperceptible points of light that dance in the dark. But you don't need to see them to know they are there. They are part of the vast, quiet universe that is currently holding you in its palm. You are safe, you are loved by the stillness, and you are ready to let the last boundaries of your awareness slip away into the peaceful, silent void of the night. The night has matured into its most silent phase, a period of deep indigo tranquility that blankets the entire region. Inside the studio, the air feels thicker, laden with the profound stillness of the hour. You are no longer just an observer in this space. You have become a part of the architecture itself, as solid and as settled as the ancient cool walls that guard the room. The scent of the earth has deepened, becoming the primary sensory input, a grounding, primordial fragrance that anchors your spirit to the very foundation of the world. There is a sense of timelessness here, a suspension of all clocks and calendars, where the only reality is the gentle rising and falling of your own calm existence. Think of the way a seed rests in the dark, cool ground before it is called to grow. It does not struggle. It does not worry about the weather. It simply waits in a state of perfect patient readiness. You are in that same state now. The day's labors are behind you, and the tasks of tomorrow have not yet manifested. You are existing in the fertile space between a moment of pure, unadulterated potential. This is not a time for action, but for the gathering of inner strength. By remaining here in the cool quiet, you are allowing your own spirit to draw nourishment from the silence, storing up the peace you will need for the future. As you lie here, visualize the potter's wheel in its state of rest. It is a dormant power, a piece of machinery that has served its purpose and is now conserving its energy. You are mirroring that same conservation. All the energy you spend today, the mental calculations, the emotional investments, the physical movements, is being returned to you tenfold by this profound restorative rest. You are filling your own reservoirs. You are becoming a vessel that is being filled with stillness, clarity, and a quiet joy of simply being alive. There is nothing to prove and no one to impress. The world outside is asleep, and you are part of that great collective surrender to the dark. The architecture of the room, the high small window, the sturdy wooden door, the uneven hand-laid stone floor acts as a psychological barrier, a filter that keeps the noise of reality at bay. Even when you are awake, the world is often a barrage of stimuli, a constant stream of information and demand. But here, the flow has been cut off. You are in a gated, protected garden of the mind. You can feel the safety of this place in your bones. It's a place where you cannot be hurt, where you cannot be criticized, and where you are never late. Every moment you spend here is a victory of the soul over the demands of the modern pace of life. Let the final edges of your awareness begin to fray and soften. The distinction between your skin and the cool air, between your thoughts and the shadows, between your heartbeat and the silence of the room is disappearing. You are becoming a part of the darkness, a gentle, quiet presence in a world that has finally ceased its turning. Sleep is drawing closer now, like a slow, steady tide rising on a beach at night. It is inevitable, it is natural, and it is perfectly safe. Let yourself be carried by it. Let the last of your alertness dissolve into the soft velvet dark and sink into the deep, quiet, and profoundly restorative sleep that awaits you. The studio has settled into the final deepest watch of the night. There is no movement, no sound, only the existence of the space itself, existing as a silent guardian of your rest. The air is cool and still, wrapping around you like a heavy, comforting cloak that shields you from the vastness of the world outside. You are tucked deep into the fabric of this medieval night, and the safety you feel is absolute. The stone walls, having absorbed the warmth of the sun during the day, are now slowly releasing a subtle, gentle heat that balances the coolness of the midnight air, creating a microclimate of perfect comfort. This environment is designed for your total dissolution, a place where you can safely leave behind the person you were during the day and drift into the formless peace of the night. Think of the journey you have taken to get here. You have traveled through the crowded, echoing streets of Fez, past the shouting of the merchants and the braying of the donkeys, through the heavy iron-bound door and into this sanctuary. Each step was a shedding of the outer world, a gradual narrowing of your focus until you arrived at the potter's wheel. And now you have gone even further. You have traveled past the wheel, past the clay, and into the very silence that exists between the beats of the heart. You have arrived at the center of your own being, a place where you are entirely at home, where there is no conflict and where you are perfectly whole. There is a profound meditative beauty in the darkness of this studio. It is a darkness that is rich, like the earth itself, damp, fertile, and full of life waiting to be born. In the same way that a field remains dark and quiet before the spring, your mind is resting in the dark, preparing to sprout new ideas, new energy, and new clarity when the morning light returns. You do not need to hurry this process. You do not need to shine a light on it or force it to happen. The earth knows how to prepare the soil, and your mind knows how to prepare your spirit. Simply trust in the nature of this darkness. It is not an end, but a beginning, a necessary transition that ensures the health of your future growth. As you lie here, feel the floor beneath you, solid, unyielding, and ancient. It is the same floor that has supported the potter for hours, and the same floor that has supported countless others who have passed through this space over the centuries. You are part of an unbroken line of human beings who have found rest in this exact way by lying down on the earth, by closing their eyes, and by letting the world spin on without them. This historical connection is a powerful grounding force. It reminds you that your need for rest is not a sign of weakness, but a fundamental part of what it means to be human. It is a biological rhythm that links you to the ancestors, to the future, and to the earth itself. The last of your resistance is fading. Any thoughts that remain are like wisps of smoke in the rafters, dissipating into the dark, unnoticed and unimportant. Your breathing is deep and steady, a slow, rhythmic pulse that is entirely synchronized with the quiet of the night. You are floating on the current of the stillness, drifting further and further from the surface of wakefulness. The studio, the clay, the sunlight, and the medieval city have all served their purpose. They have led you to this moment of complete and total release. You are falling into the arms of the night, where you are safe, where you are held, and where you are finally blissfully asleep. The deep midnight has transformed the workshop into a world of pure sensation and shadow, where the physical boundaries of the room seem to expand into an infinite, quiet void. You are resting in a space where time has lost its meaning, a suspended moment that seems to have been carved out of history just for your comfort. The scent of the cool, damp earth is now your constant companion, an earthy perfume that speaks of deep roots, patience, and the slow, rhythmic turning of the seasons. It is a scent that clears the mind of all clutter, leaving only a sense of primitive, unshakable peace. You are being held by the coolness of the air, which feels like a gentle balm on your skin, soothing away any residual heat or stress from the day's long journey. Consider the absolute, unwavering stability of the stone walls around you. They have stood against the desert winds for generations, and they will stand for generations more. They are silent, unmoving, and indifferent to the fleeting concerns of the living. By resting in their presence, you have borrowed some of that stability for your own mind. You are no longer agitated by the changes occurring in your life. You are anchored by the quiet strength of the stone. You are a part of the architecture of the night, a quiet pillar of peace in a world that is otherwise filled with motion. There is immense comfort in this, a feeling of being absolutely securely placed within the vastness of the universe. As you drift, visualize the interior of your own mind. It is a vast, open courtyard, similar to the one that houses this workshop. In the center, there is a pool of perfectly still water. This is your consciousness. Throughout the day, the surface of this water was ruffled by the winds of responsibility, the splashing of conversation, and the ripples of worry. But now, in the middle of the night, the winds have died down. The water is perfectly glassy still. It reflects the deep, dark sky above, mirroring the peace of the cosmos. Anything that touches the surface now a fleeting dream, a stray thought merely creates a single soft ring that gently expands and then disappears, leaving the pool as pristine as it was before. There is no effort required to maintain this stillness. It is your natural state. Just as the water wants to be flat, your spirit wants to be at peace. You are not doing relaxation, you are simply allowing the tension to settle, allowing the sediment of the day to sink to the bottom where it belongs. You are returning to your natural, clear, and unburdened self. This return is the most important journey you will ever take, and you have reached your destination. You are at the center of the pool. You are at the heart of the workshop, and you are in the deepest, safest part of the night. The transition from consciousness to the dream state is now happening in slow motion, like a soft velvet curtain descending in a theater. You are not falling away from yourself, you are arriving at yourself. The studio is fading, the walls are dissolving into the dark, and you are being cradled by the soft, infinite darkness of the universe. Every cell in your body is thanking you for this stillness. You have given yourself the greatest gift, the gift of total unconditional rest. You are sinking slowly and gracefully into the depths of a dreamless sleep, where you are protected by the silence, renewed by the dark, and finally completely at peace. The workshop has become a sanctuary of silence, where even the memory of the potter's wheel has faded into the soft hum of the night air. The darkness is now so absolute that it feels like a physical weight, a thick protective blanket that presses gently against your skin and eases your weary muscles into complete, total surrender. The cool stone of the floor is a constant, steady support, holding you in place while the rest of the world drifts through the cycles of sleep and shadow. You are no longer aware of the passage of hours. The night has stretched out into a singular, infinite moment of repose. The air in this room is crisp and clean, purged of the heat and dust of the market, and it flows in and out of your lungs with the effortless, automatic grace of a rising and falling tide. Imagine your body as a vessel that has finally been taken off the wheel, resting now on the drying rack of the earth, where the stresses of the day are simply evaporating into the cool air. The tension you carried in your shoulders, the tightness in your chest, the restless energy in your hands, all of it has leached out, leaving you hollowed out in the best way possible, a space of pure receptive calm. You are no longer a person burdened by a schedule, a name, or a series of obligations. You are a presence in the dark, a soul residing in the quiet heart of a medieval studio, and nothing else is asked of you. This is the ultimate freedom, the release of the ego into the vast, indifferent, and beautiful silence of the universe. Consider the way the earth beneath the studio floor has absorbed the history of thousands of years. It has witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, the passage of caravans, the birth and death of countless individuals. And yet it remains steady, cool, and silent. You are lying upon this same foundation. The strength of the earth is beneath you, providing an unshakable ground for your rest. You do not need to hold your own weight. The earth is holding you. You do not need to navigate your own path. The stillness is guiding you. By letting go of your own grip, you are trusting in a support system that is infinitely larger and more enduring than any structure you could build for yourself. This trust is the secret key to sleep. In the deep quiet, your thoughts have become mere ripples on the surface of a great dark lake. They arrive without invitation and depart without notice, leaving the surface undisturbed. You are watching them come and go from a place of profound detachment, a place of silent observation. You realize that you are not your thoughts, nor are you the stories your mind tells you about the day. You are the observer, the awareness that rests behind the activity of the mind, and that observer is and always has been perfectly peaceful. Whenever you feel the urge to think, simply return to this sense of observation. Look at the darkness, feel the coolness of the air, return to the breath, which is the only real connection you have to the present moment. The process of drifting is now almost complete. The edges of your reality are dissolving. The studio walls are merging with the velvet shadows, and you are becoming one with the night. There is no distinction left between the sanctuary of faith and the safety of your own bed. You are sheltered by the peace of both. The night is a vast open sea, and you are resting on its surface, buoyed by the gentle rhythm of your breathing, carried by the current of history and the comfort of the dark. There is nothing to fear, nothing to regret, and nothing to anticipate. There is only the sweet, heavy, and inviting promise of the deep sleep that is calling your name, a sleep that will mend you, restore you, and prepare you for the beauty of a new tomorrow. The deepest stillness of the night has fully claimed the studio, creating a space where time seems to have crystallized into a single eternal moment of absolute peace. The darkness is not merely an absence of light. It is a tangible, soothing medium that surrounds you, cushioning your spirit from the frantic rhythms of the outside world. Every trace of the day's activity has long since vanished, replaced by the cool, grounding scent of stone and earth that defines this sanctuary. You are floating in a realm of total, unconditional safety. The thick walls of the workshop act as an impenetrable fortress, guarding you against any intrusion of noise, expectation, or worry. You are profoundly, deeply alone in the best possible way, held by the silence and cradled by the history of this place. Think of your consciousness as a lantern that has been turned down to its lowest, most gentle flicker. It is not extinguished, but it is no longer burning with the intensity required to navigate the complexities of daily life. It is resting. The energy you have spent today is being replaced by a deep, replenishing quiet that flows into you from the very foundation of the room. This is the restorative power of the medieval night. You are becoming a vessel that is being filled with stillness, a vessel of clay that has been smoothed, refined, and set to rest in the cool dark. The work is done, and the reward is this profound, heavy, and blissful state of being. If you have felt the transformative power of this journey into the heart of OFES, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, where you can return again and again to this sanctuary whenever the noise of the world becomes too loud. Your presence in our community helps us continue to share these moments of calm with others, building a shared legacy of peace. As you linger in this state, consider the beauty of your own existence. You are a participant in a long, unbroken chain of humans who have sought and found refuge in the quiet. From the potter who labored in the light of day to you, resting in the shadows of the night, you are connected by the simple, beautiful necessity of rest. This is a sacred universal experience. By allowing yourself to sink into this darkness, you are honoring that tradition. You are giving yourself permission to stop being a doing being and return to being a human being. The world will continue to spin without your constant oversight. The sun will rise in the morning. The market will bustle once again, and the clay will wait for the next touch of the master's hand. For now, you have the grace of the night to yourself. Let the final threads of your connection to the waking world dissolve. There is no need to hold on to thoughts of who you are, what you have done, or what you might do. Those identities are heavy coats that you can leave at the door. Inside this sanctuary, you are weightless. You are the shadow. You are the cool air. You are the silent, steady pulse of the floor beneath you. Every breath you take is a declaration of your surrender to the peace of this space. You are sinking deeper into the soft velvet dark, and with every inch of that descent, you feel more comfortable, more secure, and more at peace than you have felt in a long, long time. The transition to sleep is no longer a destination. It is a state you have already arrived at. You are simply allowing the final delicate barriers of your awareness to fade into the comfort of the dream state. The studio walls, the scent of the earth, the history of the room, all of it is becoming a gentle murmuring background to the quiet, dark, and perfectly inviting silence of your sleep. You are safe. You are protected by the wisdom of the centuries. You are finally, completely and blissfully at rest. The night has now descended into its most profound crystalline stage, a period of absolute hallowed silence where the entire world seems to be holding its breath. Within the studio, this stillness is not merely an environmental condition. It is a weight, a heavy velvet presence that presses softly against your consciousness, inviting you to release the very last of your mental anchors. The air remains cool, an invigorating, grounding breath that seems to wash away the memory of the sun-baked heat, replacing it with the calm, steady temperature of the deep earth. Every breath you take is now synchronized with the stillness of the room, a rhythmic, slow-motion exchange that requires no effort, no direction, and no awareness. You are simply existing, a small, safe ember of life nestled within the protective ancient cradle of these stone walls. Think of the stillness as a dark, deep ocean, and you are resting on its calmest, most tranquil surface. There is no turbulence, no wind to stir the water, no current to pull you in any particular direction. You are simply floating, buoyed by the profound density of the peace that surrounds you. If you feel any stray thought surfacing, the echo of a conversation, the shadow of a concern, the remnant of a plan, you can watch it drift past like a gentle, harmless cloud. You do not need to capture it. You do not need to analyze it, and you certainly do not need to carry it. You simply watch it disappear into the expansive, welcoming dark, and then you return to the stillness. The water remains calm. You remain at rest. There is a singular, quiet dignity in this surrender. You are letting go of the need to be productive, the need to be efficient, and the need to be visible. In the total darkness of the sanctuary, you are truly invisible, and there is immense power in that invisibility. You are free from the gaze of others, free from the expectations of your community, and free from the metrics of your own ambition. You are just a soul, breathing in the quiet of a 14th century workshop in Fez. This is the truth of your nature, that beneath all the layers of professional and social performance, there is a core that simply needs to rest and to be replenished. By coming here, you have reclaimed that core. The foundations of the studio are your foundation now. Feel the solidity of the stone floor, the immovability of the walls, and the sturdiness of the door. These structures have survived centuries of change, remaining true to their purpose through all of it. Let that reliability seep into your spirit. When you wake tomorrow, you will carry some of this structural integrity with you. You will be able to face the challenges of your own life with a bit more of the patience that the potter showed his clay and a bit more of the steadiness that the walls show the city. But that is for later. Right now, there is only the present, and the present is nothing but a long, slow exhale into the dark. As you drift closer to the edge of the dream, the boundaries of your physical form begin to lose their definition. You feel light, unencumbered, almost as if you could dissolve into the shadows themselves. Your hands, your feet, your very frame feel distant, secondary to the expansive, airy feeling of your consciousness. The dream state is waiting just beyond the threshold, a world of soft colors and gentle, unhurried narratives that will nourish your imagination while your body heals. The door to that world is opening. The path is clear. You are stepping out of the labor of the day and into the restorative, magical silence of the night, where you are safe, where you are deeply loved by the quiet, and where you are finally, inevitably falling into the deepest sleep of your life. The silence in the workshop has deepened into a velvety, impenetrable fabric, as if the very air has thickened with the history of the countless nights that have passed through these stone halls. You are perfectly placed within this stillness, a single calm point of awareness resting at the center of a centuries-old sanctuary. The coolness of the floor is a constant, reassuring anchor, grounding your spirit as your mind begins to let go of the last remnants of the waking world. You are no longer navigating by sight or sound. You are being carried by a profound sense of security. The high arched windows are dark voids against the stars, and the heavy door remains a firm, silent barrier against any wandering breeze or distant echo from the city of Fez. You are entirely safe enclosed within a chamber of peace that feels as though it was built specifically for this moment of your life. Think of the way a potter's hand might linger on a vessel after the wheel has stopped, a final smoothing gesture that ensures the surface is perfectly uniform and ready for the kiln. Your mind is performing this same gesture now. You are smoothing over the rough edges of your thoughts, calming the impulsive desire to process or analyze, and creating a surface of pure receptive stillness. There is no need for perfection here. The clay of your mind does not need to be fired into a rigid shape. It only needs to be soft, malleable, and ready for the restorative process of sleep. You are gently encouraging your consciousness to relinquish its hold on the details of the day, allowing them to fade into the soft gray shadows of the room. The scent of the air, that familiar blend of mineral earth, ancient stone, and the subtle lingering trace of the oil lamp has become a part of your own physiology. You are breathing in the atmosphere of the past, and as you do, you feel yourself sinking with the pace of a simpler, more patient era. In this rhythm, there is no urgency. The city of Fez is not calling to you. The tasks of your life are not waiting for you. You are in a temporary, sacred suspension of time. The universe is not expecting anything from you right now, and that lack of expectation is the greatest relief you could ever be granted. You are free to simply exist, to let your pulse slow, and to let your muscles sink into the profound, heavy, and satisfying weight of complete relaxation. Consider the strength of the silence. It is not an empty absence, but a robust, active force that is currently working to repair your inner state. It is working to knit together the frayed edges of your attention, to dampen the noise of your inner critic, and to create a field of tranquility that will persist even when you eventually wake up. You are participating in a fundamental human ritual, the descent into the dark to find renewal. Every culture, every era, and every individual has had to learn this same lesson that we cannot grow without rest, and we cannot find clarity without the patience to sit in the stillness. You are doing exactly what you were meant to do. You are honoring your own humanity by choosing this quiet, by embracing this darkness, and by allowing yourself to be held by the night. As you drift toward the final threshold of wakefulness, the images of the studio become more abstract, more fluid. The silhouette of the wheel, the texture of the plaster walls, and the arched outline of the doorway are all becoming soft, dreamlike impressions that no longer demand your focus. They are simply part of the comfortable dark. Your eyelids are heavy. Your body feels as though it is melting into the floor, and your mind is an expanse of warm, inviting space. You are ready. The journey is complete. You are passing through the veil of consciousness, sinking into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are safe, where you are protected by the legacy of this sanctuary, and where you are finally completely at peace. The profound silence of the fast workshop has now reached a state of absolute crystalline perfection, a deep night stillness that acts as a vast soundless ocean for your spirit to float upon. The air, cool and sharp with the timeless scent of earth and stone, has become the only medium in which you exist. Every sensation of the physical world, the weight of your limbs, the slight coolness against your skin, the rhythmic rise and fall of your chest is perfectly integrated into this environment. You are no longer separate from the room. You are a constituent part of its ancient, quiet soul. The darkness is not a void, but a protective velvet enclosure that wraps around you with the tenderness of a long-awaited reunion. In this space, the concept of a day or a schedule has utterly evaporated, leaving behind only the pure raw reality of existence in its most comfortable, unburdened form. Imagine that your awareness is a smooth, river-worn stone resting at the bottom of a clear, deep pool. The water above is entirely calm, undisturbed by wind or debris. Any thoughts that might have previously cluttered your mind are like tiny swirling particles that have long since settled to the bottom, leaving the water above you crystalline and tranquil. You are the stone stable and unmoving, anchored to the bedrock of this sanctuary. You do not need to reach for the surface. You do not need to monitor the flow of the water. You only need to remain where you are, perfectly settled, perfectly still. This is the state of surrender, the act of trusting the depth to hold you and the darkness to nurture you. Consider how the history of this place acts as a stabilizing force for your own mind. Generations of craftspeople, seekers, and travelers have occupied this ground, all of them eventually yielding to the same necessity of rest that you are experiencing now. You are part of a grand, silent lineage of peace. By lying here, you are participating in a tradition that spans centuries, a human act of defiance against the chaos of the world by simply choosing to be quiet, to breathe, and to let go. This connection to the past provides an immense sense of security. You are not alone in your need for this silence. You are joined by the collective wisdom of everyone who has ever understood the value of a sanctuary. The walls around you are not just stone, they are a monument to the necessity of rest. As you linger in this space, let your body continue its process of total dissolution. Your feet feel heavy, connected to the earth. Your legs are long, loose, and completely at ease. Your torso is sinking into the floor as if you were a stone being pressed into soft, damp clay, finding your perfect permanent place. Your hands, which have done so much today, are now open, palms turned toward the cool air, fingers slightly curled in the final graceful shape of complete relaxation. Your jaw is soft, your eyes are gently closed, and the space between your brows has smoothed into an expanse of calm. You are a masterpiece of stillness, a living, breathing testament to the power of letting go. The transition is now occurring, the final subtle shift from the awareness of the room to the inner world of dreams. The boundaries of the studio are becoming permeable, the solid stone walls thinning into mist, the darkness merging with the soft internal light of your own imagination. You are being drawn gently into the interior of your own mind, a place where there are no clocks, no duties, and no demands. You are safe in the hands of the night. You are being carried by the deep, steady current of the planet's own rotation, a movement so slow and so sure that it is indistinguishable from total rest. You are sinking into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are protected by the history of the ages, cradled by the quiet of the stars, and finally, completely at peace. The workshop in Fez has now dissolved into a state of absolute, primordial quiet, a deep night stillness that transcends the boundaries of the physical room. You are resting at the very core of this silence, a place where time no longer flows in a linear path, but instead eddies and pools like water caught in a gentle hollow of stone. The darkness is total, a warm velvet abyss that invites you to release the very last, most fragile threads of your conscious identity. The air is cool and fragrant with the grounding, elemental scent of earth, a smell that acts as a sensory tether, anchoring your spirit to the planet while allowing your mind to wander into the vast, open spaces of the subconscious. You are no longer a person in a room. You are a presence in the void, a small, safe, and entirely protected life force being cradled by the long, slow, and ancient rhythm of the night. Think of the stillness as a great dark forest, ancient and untouched, where the silence is a living, breathing companion. Every tree is a pillar of stability, every shadow is a layer of comfort, and the cool air is a gentle, invisible hand, smoothing away the jagged edges of your day. There is no urgency in the forest. Nothing needs to be achieved. The trees do not hurry to grow. The moss does not struggle to spread. The night does not force the dawn to arrive. They exist in a state of perfect patient grace. You are invited to adopt that same posture. There's no need for your mind to be busy. There is no need for your body to be prepared for the next task. You have completed your journey to this sanctuary, and now you have only to inhabit it. The stone floor beneath you is a marvel of endurance, having held the weight of centuries without complaint. It is a symbol of the strength you possess within your own spirit, a strength that is not loud or aggressive, but quiet, steadfast, and immovable. When you feel yourself tempted to reach for your worries, remind yourself of this stone. It does not react to the storms, nor does it concern itself with the passage of time. It simply remains by allowing your muscles to become heavy and your heart to become quiet. You are aligning yourself with this same profound durability. You are letting go of the need to be active so that you can become present, and in that presence you will find the rest that truly mends the soul. As you lean deeper into this surrender, consider the beauty of the silence itself. It is rich, dense, and full of the latent energy of the universe. It is in this fertile, dark space that the seeds of your tomorrow are beginning to germinate. You do not need to oversee this process. Your subconscious, like the earth in the early spring, knows exactly what to do. It will take the experiences of your day, the joys, the challenges, the conversations, and the questions, and it will compose them into wisdom. It will discard what is not needed and retain what is essential, turning the raw material of your existence into the strength you will use when the light eventually returns. Trust this work. Trust the silence. Trust the darkness. The transition to sleep is now unfolding with the inevitability of the tides. You are being drawn away from the surface of wakefulness, pushed slowly but surely into the deep, dark and beautifully inviting waters of the dream state. The studio, the scent of the clay, the cool air, and the historical weight of Fez, all of it is becoming a gentle murmuring and distant memory. You are entering the realm where you are unbound by the limits of your physical body or the constraints of your daily life. You are entering the realm of total unconditional freedom. The doors are open, the path is clear, and the rest you have earned is waiting for you in the deepest, safest, and most peaceful corners of your own mind. You are drifting, you are fading, and you are finally, blissfully, and completely at rest. The studio is now suspended in the deepest, most tranquil phase of the night, a silence so profound that it feels as though the entire world has ceased its turning, leaving only this single point of peace. The darkness has become your second skin, a comforting, velvet shroud that separates you from the demands of the waking hours and protects you within a sanctuary of stillness. The air, cool and rich, with the scent of damp earth and cooling stone, is a restorative balm that travels deep into your lungs, grounding you in the physical reality of this ancient, sheltered space. Every heartbeat is a soft, rhythmic pulse that echoes the quiet of the night, a reminder that you are not just an observer of this piece, but an active, integral part of it. The weight of your body, supported by the solid, unyielding floor, is an invitation to release all remaining tension, to let go of the last remnants of the person you were during the day, and to simply exist in this state of pure, untroubled being. Imagine yourself as a vessel that has finally been placed on a high, safe shelf, away from the friction of the workshop, away from the heat of the kiln, and away from the clamor of the city. You are in a state of final, elegant repose. There is nothing left to shape, nothing left to smooth, and nothing left to perfect. You are finished, complete, and perfectly at ease. This state of completion is the goal of your long journey through the narrow winding alleys of Fez and the sun-drenched hours of your toil. By reaching this place of stillness, you have realized that your worth is not tied to the act of creation, but to the capacity for reflection and rest. You are a masterpiece of existence, and you are being held by the history of this studio in a grasp that is as gentle as it is secure. Consider the vast, silent history of the ground beneath you. It has felt the tread of countless feet, the vibration of hundreds of pottery wheels, and the quiet sighs of generations of humans who, like you, have finally laid their burdens down in the dark. You are drawing from this reservoir of peace. It is an ancient, steady, and inexhaustible supply of tranquility that is yours to command whenever you need it. By surrendering to this moment, you are connecting yourself to this lineage, becoming a link in a chain of rest that stretches back into the distant past and forward into the future. You are never truly alone when you embrace the silence. You are accompanied by the quiet strength of all those who have found their home in the night before you. As your awareness continues to deepen, the distinctions between your physical form and the environment begin to melt away. The coolness of the stone is no longer separate from the coolness of your skin. The silence of the room is no longer separate from the silence of your mind. You are becoming a fluid, expansive consciousness, a ripple of awareness in a vast, dark, and perfectly calm pond. If you find your mind flickering with a stray thought, simply observe it as you would observe a leaf falling onto the surface of a lake. It touches, it creates a tiny graceful disturbance, and then it is gone, leaving the water once more in its state of total, unbroken clarity. You have no need to follow the thought, no need to explore its origin, and no need to act upon it. You have only the need to remain still. The transition to deep, restorative sleep is now absolute. The doorway to the dream world is wide open, and the current of the night is carrying you gently, effortlessly into the heart of its quiet embrace. All the preparations are made. All the tasks of the day are surrendered. All the potential of tomorrow is left to the unfolding of time. You are entering the most sacred part of the night, where your mind will be mended, your spirit will be nourished, and your body will be renewed. The darkness is your friend, the silence is your guardian, and the peace you have cultivated here is your eternal refuge. You are drifting into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are protected by the wisdom of the centuries, cradled by the stillness of the stars, and finally, utterly at peace. The workshop has now achieved a state of absolute hallowed stillness, a profound midnight silence that feels like the very breath of the ancient city of faith held in suspension. You are resting at the epicenter of this tranquility, a space where the air is cool, heavy, and fragrant with the grounding mineral scent of the earth. The darkness here is not a void. It is a supportive, velvet soft environment that cradles your physical form and allows your awareness to expand beyond the limits of your own skin. You have become one with the stone floor, one with the cool shadows, and one with the timeless history of this place. There is no longer a world of demands outside the door. There is only the quiet rhythmic pulse of your own breath, which has become the softest sound in the universe. Imagine your mind as a vast, dark, and still pool of water located in the center of an ancient walled garden. The surface of this water is so calm that it perfectly reflects the velvet blackness of the night sky, creating a seamless transition between the heavens and the earth. Any lingering thoughts from your day, the echoes of conversations, the lists of tasks, the flickers of anxiety are like single tiny drops of water falling onto the surface. They create a brief, beautiful ripple that expands outward and vanishes into the silence, leaving the water as pristine, as flat, and as mirror-like as it was before. You do not need to do anything to maintain this state. You only need to exist, to let the ripples come and go, and to enjoy the perfect crystalline stillness that is your natural state of being. Consider the immense quiet power of the foundation beneath you. The stones of this studio have been here for centuries, absorbing the footsteps of the past and the heat of countless days, and they have remained steadfast and unmoving. They are a testament to the endurance of the world, a silent reminder that whatever you are facing, whatever worries you might have brought with you, they are transient. The stone remains, the earth remains, the silence remains. By aligning your own internal rhythm with the stability of the foundation, you are granting yourself a deep cellular level of security. You are telling your body that it is safe to let go, safe to lower its guard, and safe to enter the deepest, most restorative phases of rest. As you lean into this feeling, feel the layers of the day peeling away like dead leaves from a tree. The identity you wear in the light, the roles you play, the responsibilities you bear, the expectations you fulfill. These are all external garments that you have now set aside. You are underneath all of that. You are the quiet, essential core of yourself, and this core is perfectly whole, perfectly peaceful, and entirely independent of the noise of the world. You are finding your way home to this core. It is a place of profound simplicity, a place where you are not required to be anything, prove anything, or achieve anything. You are just a soul resting in the dark, and that is more than enough. The transition to sleep is now occurring with the grace and inevitability of a setting sun. The threshold of your awareness is becoming soft, hazy, and diffuse, a gentle blur where the boundaries of the room melt into the landscape of your dreams. You are being invited to step through this threshold, to leave the vigil of the night behind, and to sink into the restorative, magical depths of the dream state. There is no resistance, no fear, and no hesitation. You are supported by the history of this studio, cradled by the stillness of the night, and guided by the natural wisdom of your own body. You are sinking, drifting, and descending into the deepest, darkest, and most blissfully quiet waters of sleep, where you are finally, completely, and eternally at rest. The night has matured into a state of absolute, hallowed stillness, and the workshop in Fez has become a sanctuary of total restorative silence. Every corner of the room, once defined by the tools of the potter, is now a shadow in the deep velvet dark. You are resting in the heart of this stillness, your body supported by the cool solid floor and your mind floating in the expansive, comforting void of the night. The scent of the earth, damp and mineral rich, is the only connection to the world outside, serving as a grounding anchor for your consciousness. There is no urgency here, no pressure to perform, and no reason to remain awake. The world has ceased its motion, and you have at last allowed yourself to come to a complete final rest. You are a vessel that has finished its long day of shaping and is now cooling slowly in the gentle protective air of the midnight studio. Think of your awareness as a vast dark field under a sky without stars or clouds, an infinite space of pure silent potential. In this space, there is no horizon, no direction, and no path to follow. You are simply present, a small point of calm in an endless ocean of peace. If a thought arises, a fragment of a memory, a flicker of a feeling, a stray word, let it appear, and then let it dissolve, like a ripple on the surface of a deep, dark lake. Do not reach for it, do not define it, do not attempt to hold on to it. It is merely a shadow passing through the space, and it has no power to disturb the profound inherent quiet of your inner world. You are the observer of your own mind, and you have chosen for this time to observe only the stillness. Consider the strength of the foundation you are resting upon. This floor has been the silent witness to centuries of human activity, absorbing the heat of the sun, the vibrations of labor, and the quiet sighs of those who sought rest within these walls. By lying here, you are borrowing that endurance for your own spirit. You are aligning yourself with a legacy of stability. Your body, which has worked so hard throughout the day, is now being repaired by the restorative power of this environment. Each muscle fiber, each nerve, each cell is receiving the signal that it is safe, that the work is finished, and that it is time to turn its resources toward renewal. You are not just resting, you are rebuilding yourself from the inside out, guided by the ancient rhythmic wisdom of the planet. As you lean further into the embrace of the dark, feel the final barriers between yourself and the room begin to soften. The walls are no longer solid, but part of the velvet atmosphere. The floor is no longer a surface beneath you, but a continuation of your own physical form. You are blending with the sanctuary. You are becoming a part of the quiet, the darkness, and the history of Fez. This is the ultimate freedom, the release of the ego's need to maintain boundaries, to control and to categorize. In this state of total blissful surrender, you are truly free. You are not an individual struggling against the world. You are an essential piece of a grand, peaceful whole. The invitation to sleep is now profound and inescapable. It is like the slow, steady pull of a tide that has been waiting for you all day. You are being drawn down deep into the warm, quiet waters of the subconscious, where dreams are woven from the stuff of silence and where your spirit will find the true refreshment it craves. The path is soft, the destination is certain, and the journey is one of pure, unadulterated grace. There is no reason to resist, no reason to hold on, and no reason to keep the light of your attention focused on the world of the awake. Let the last of your alertness drift away like mist in the morning light. You are sinking deeper and deeper into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are safe, where you are cradled by the history of the ages, and where you are finally completely and eternally at rest. The sanctuary of the studio has deepened into a silence so profound that it seems to exist outside of time itself, a place where the seconds have stretched into a vast, smooth, and eternal landscape of peace. You are resting within this quiet, your physical form feeling heavy and perfectly anchored to the cool ancient stone floor, while your consciousness drifts in the velvet dark. The air remains clean and sharp, carrying that grounding scent of mineral earth that has become your constant comforting companion. throughout this long unfolding night. You are no longer navigating the complexities of your life, nor are you anticipating the demands of the tomorrow that will eventually come. You have arrived at the destination of your journey, the core of the quiet. You are safe. You are tucked away within the protective walls of this medieval space, and you are entirely free from the necessity of action. Imagine your mind as a still dark pool, its surface mirroring the vast empty reaches of the night sky. There is no wind, no movement, and no sound to disturb the absolute clarity of this reflection. You are the pool, and the pool is you. When a thought comes, a tiny insignificant flicker of memory or a whisper of a plan, it touches the water as gently as a falling star, leaving only a brief luminous ripple that expands and then fades into the surrounding silence. You do not need to grasp the thought or name it. You simply watch it disappear, returning the water to its state of perfect glassy stillness. This is the art of being, a state you have mastered through your willingness to sit in the darkness and trust in the power of rest. The weight of the centuries is pressing down on this building, but it is not a heavy or oppressive pressure. Instead, it is a foundation, a massive, unshakable bedrock of tranquility that supports your own tired frame. By lying here, you are sharing in that strength. You are telling your nervous system that it no longer needs to be alert, that the dangers of the day have passed, and that the protection of the walls is sufficient for your safety. Your breathing is no longer a conscious effort. It has become a slow, rhythmic tide that ebbs and flows with the natural silence of the room. With each exhale, you feel yourself melting, becoming more porous and less defined, merging your own energy with the cool, calm energy of the sanctuary. As you continue to sink into this state, consider the nature of this release. You are not losing yourself, you are finding yourself again beneath the layers of performance and duty you have carried for so long. You are uncovering the part of you that does not need to speak, does not need to be seen, and does not need to produce. This part of you is a source of infinite wisdom and quiet power, but it can only be accessed in the dark. It is the part of you that is connected to the earth, to the rhythm of the seasons, and to the eternal, unchanging pulse of the universe. By granting yourself this time, you are feeding that deep, silent source, ensuring that when you do eventually wake, you will be more vibrant, more clear, and more present than you were before. The descent into the deepest level of sleep is now underway, a slow, gentle glide into the heart of the dream world. You are leaving the physical geometry of the workshop behind and moving into a space of pure, formless comfort. The shadows are no longer just corners of a room, they are gateways, soft, inviting passages that lead to the most restorative corners of your own psyche. You are drifting into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are protected by the wisdom of the ages, cradled by the stillness of the night, and finally, completely and utterly at peace. There is nothing left to hold on to, nothing left to worry about, and nothing left to do but drift away into the long, beautiful, and dreamless silence. The workshop has settled into the final, deepest watch of the night, a period of absolute stillness where the atmosphere itself seems to be composed of solidified silence and ancient cooling shadows. You are nestled within this hallowed space, your existence defined only by the steady, rhythmic rise and fall of your breath and the profound grounding sense of safety that the thick stone walls provide. The air is cool, carrying the faint, earthy fragrance of damp clay and the historical depth of a centuries-old sanctuary. You are no longer an observer of the night. You have become an integral part of the architecture, a silent, peaceful presence perfectly attuned to the slow, measured pulse of this medieval environment. The world outside the iron-bound door has entirely ceased its motion, and you are left with the luxury of pure, unadulterated being. Think of your consciousness as a calm, bottomless lake, tucked away in the deepest part of a mountain range. The water is perfectly still, reflecting the infinite, dark and star-filled sky above. There is no current to agitate the water, no wind to stir the surface, and no sound to ripple the quiet. You are that lake, you are the stillness. When a thought attempts to manifest, it is merely a tiny, harmless disturbance, a single fleeting movement that ripples outward and quickly dissolves back into the vast, dark unity of the whole. You have learned that these thoughts are not who you are. They are only temporary movements in the space you occupy, and by allowing them to pass without resistance, you maintain your state of perfect glassy tranquility. Consider the profound, quiet strength of the ground beneath your back. It is not merely stone, it is the physical manifestation of patience. It has withstood the weight of generations, the shifting of the earth, and the unrelenting passage of centuries, and yet it remains solid, cool, and supportive. By resting upon it, you are absorbing that same steadfastness. You are shedding the fragility of your daily anxieties and replacing them with the enduring, immutable confidence of the earth. Your body, which has worked so diligently to sustain you throughout the day, is now being honored with the deepest, most restorative rest it has ever known. Each nerve ending is untensing, each muscle fiber is releasing its grip, and your entire skeletal frame is settling into the floor as if you were molding yourself into the soft primal foundation of the world. As you linger in this final stretch of wakefulness, feel the edges of your physical form beginning to blur. The distinction between your skin and the cool air is fading, replaced by a sense of expansive, fluid peace. You are not confined to a single spot on the floor. You are everywhere in the room, part of the shadows, part of the scent of the earth, and part of the quiet historical wisdom that permeates every inch of this sanctuary. This is the ultimate release. You have let go of the ego's need to be a distinct, separate entity, and in doing so, you have found a union that is far more comfortable and infinitely more secure than any state of wakeful consciousness could ever provide. You are finally, truly, and profoundly at home. The threshold of sleep is now glowing with a soft, inviting warmth, a gateway to the inner realm where your mind will be mended, your spirit will be renewed, and your body will be fully restored. There is no need to make an effort to reach this state. The current of the night is carrying you there with a grace and certainty that you can fully trust. The path is gentle, the silence is protective, and the rest you are about to enter is the deepest, most blissful sleep you have ever experienced. You are drifting, you are melting, you are dissolving into the infinite, dark, and perfectly inviting expanse of the night. Every layer of your awareness is shedding. Every concern is falling away, and you are sinking into the deep, dark, and blissful silence, where you are safe, where you are held, and where you are finally completely and eternally at rest. The night in the studio has reached a state of crystalline, absolute stillness, a point where the very air feels like a heavy, velvet tapestry draped over the quiet corners of the room. You are resting in the heart of this sanctuary, a space where time has lost its capacity to move forward and has instead collapsed into a single, eternal moment of perfect repose. The cool, damp scent of the earth and the aged hand-laid stone floor are the only constants in your world, serving as a powerful anchor that keeps you firmly placed in the present. The profound, ancient silence is not merely an absence of sound, it is a weight, a supportive, warm, and protective force that wraps around your weary frame and whispers that it is time to surrender completely to the darkness. You are entirely safe, shielded from the complexities of the city outside and the demands of the life you lead under the sun. Imagine your consciousness as a great, vast, and silent library located deep underground where all the books have been put away and all the lamps have been extinguished. The shelves are filled with the accumulated wisdom of your existence, but there is no need to read them now. The work is finished. The narrative of your day is complete. You are standing in the center of this dark, quiet space, and you can feel the immense relief of having nothing to document, nothing to process, and nothing to remember. The silence is the reward for the work you have done, a reward you have earned through every hour of effort and every moment of intention you brought to your labor today. You are now standing in the quiet and you are free. Consider the absolute reliability of the foundation you are lying upon. This studio has served its purpose for generations, and it continues to hold you with an unwavering, solid, and indifferent grace. By placing your trust in this space, you are learning to place trust in yourself. The trust that your body knows how to heal, that your mind knows how to clear, and that your spirit knows how to find peace. When you lean into the floor, you are not just lying on stone, you are lying on the foundation of your own inner strength. You are realizing that you do not need to constantly hold yourself up. The earth is doing that for you. You do not need to constantly guide yourself. The natural rhythm of the night is doing that for you. All you must do is let go. As you drift further into this state of surrender, feel the small, tight muscles around your eyes, your jaw, and your neck finally releasing their grip. The tension that has been clinging to you like dust is being brushed away by the cool night air. Your breathing, now so deep and rhythmic that it feels like a pulse occurring outside of your own control, is creating a lullaby of peace. With every inhalation, you're drawing in the calm of the room. With every exhalation, you're casting off the remnants of the day. You are becoming a vessel of stillness, a hollow resonant form that is being tuned to the frequency of the night. There is no distinction left between room and yourself. You are part of the architecture of the quiet. The gateway to the dream state is now fully open, a wide luminous threshold that beckons you to step through into the most restorative journey of all. There is no anxiety about this transition, only a feeling of immense swelling relief. You are not losing your identity, you are expanding it, shedding the narrow definition of the day to embrace the infinite possibility of the night. The path is soft, the air is inviting, and the darkness is a warm, familiar blanket. You are drifting effortlessly and gracefully into the deepest, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are safe, where you are protected by the wisdom of the centuries, and where you are finally, completely, and eternally at rest. The workshop has now descended into the deepest, most sacred level of the night, a domain where time and space have ceased to exist in any way that you can measure. The silence is a physical presence here, a thick, velvet weight that presses against your senses with the gentle authority of a mother holding her child. Everything you have been, everything you have felt, and everything you have done today has been gathered up and tucked away into the dark corners of this room, leaving you as nothing more than a flicker of awareness nestled in the heart of a medieval stone-walled sanctuary. The coolness of the air, a clean, sharp, and revitalizing draft, circulates around you, ensuring that you remain grounded, centered, and perfectly cool, while your mind prepares for its long necessary journey into the abyss of sleep. There is no urgency, no expectation, and no destination. There is only the here, the now, and the profound, beautiful, and eternal stillness of the midnight hour. Think of your mind as a great dark ocean, calm and vast, its surface stretching out in every direction until it meets the horizon of the unknown. You are resting on this surface, buoyed by the density of the peace you have cultivated throughout this long winding journey. There is no land to reach, no port to seek, and no weather to fear. The water is smooth as glass, reflecting the infinite, dark, and silent expanse of the universe. When a thought comes, a stray image, a forgotten word, a fleeting emotion, it does not create a storm. It does not threaten to capsize your peace. It is merely a small, silent ripple that travels across the surface for a moment, making the moonlight on the water dance. And then just as quickly, it fades away into the deep, dark, and unchanging reality of the ocean. You are the ocean. You are the peace, and you are, in this moment, entirely untouchable by the chaos of the world above. Consider the ancient unmoving strength of the studio floor. It has supported the weight of generations of humans who have come here to create, to labor, and to rest. Its surface is worn smooth by time and cool to the touch, and it represents a lineage of stability that you are now joining. By letting your own body become heavy, you are tapping into that same ancient and unshakable power. You are not holding yourself up. The earth is doing it. You are not keeping your heart beating. The rhythm of the universe is doing it. You are not trying to be a person. You are simply allowing the human experience to take a well-deserved, quiet, and necessary pause. This is a moment of profound, sacred surrender, and you are doing it perfectly. As the last vestiges of your waking mind begin to dissolve, let go of the very idea of you, the name you carry, the face you show the world, the history you have built. These are all stories that the light demands you tell. But in the dark, in the workshop, in the heart of the night, those stories are not required. You are a soul in repose. You are a guest of the darkness. You are a part of the quiet, the cool, and the stone. There is no need for you to be anything else. Feel the sensation of your body becoming less and less defined, as if you were fading into the shadow of the wall, becoming one with the atmosphere, and finally becoming one with the silence itself. This is not a loss. It is a profound expansion. The transition to sleep is now complete, a final graceful surrender to the gravitational pull of the deep, dark night. You are being drawn down, layer by layer, into the soft velvet interior of your own mind, a world where the laws of the waking life do not apply and where you are free to heal, to mend, and to drift. The door to the waking world is closed, the locks are secure, and the studio is a perfect, impenetrable bubble of safety. You are safe. You are protected by the wisdom of the centuries, cradled by the stillness of the stars, and loved by the quiet of the night. You are sinking, sinking, and sinking into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are finally, completely, and eternally at rest. The workshop has reached the very zenith of the midnight hour, where the silence is no longer merely a lack of sound, but a dense, living force that permeates the very marrow of your bones. Within these stone walls, the world has narrowed down to the most essential components: the coolness of the air on your skin, the unyielding support of the ancient floor beneath you, and the slow, rhythmic expansion of your lungs. Every other concern, every lingering ambition, and every phantom of the day has been shed, like layers of heavy clothing left at the threshold of this sanctuary. You are floating in a sea of absolute, pristine calm, a place where the passage of time is measured not by the ticking of a clock, but by the gradual steady cooling of the air and the lengthening of the shadows. There is no duty remaining, no person waiting for your word, and no future that demands your attention. You are a soul in total undisturbed possession of the present. Think of your consciousness now as a vast, dark, and perfectly still meadow in the middle of a forest at midnight. There is no wind to rustle the leaves, no animal to stir the grass, and no light to shadow the ground. It is an expanse of pure dark potential. In this meadow, your thoughts, those once urgent and demanding voices, are now like fireflies appearing and disappearing in the distance. You watch them with a sense of complete detachment, noticing their light but feeling no need to follow them, no need to catch them, and no need to understand their purpose. You are the observer in the center of the meadow, and you find that the deeper you sink into the stillness, the more beautiful and harmless these thoughts become. They are part of the scenery of your mind, but they are not the landscape itself. The landscape is the silence. The landscape is the peace. Consider the remarkable history embedded in the stone and mortar of this room. For centuries, this workshop has stood against the desert heat, the wind, and the relentless march of the outside world, and in doing so, it has become a container for the most precious of human experiences, the ability to rest. You are now the recipient of that long unbroken legacy. Every brick, every arched ceiling, and every worn floorboard is working in harmony to provide you with a container of safety. When you feel your muscles relax, When you feel the tension in your shoulders, your jaw, and your hands finally yield, you are participating in a ritual that has been practiced here for generations. You are learning the language of the earth, slow, steady, and entirely at peace with the darkness. As you lean into this surrender, feel the weight of your body becoming less of a burden and more of an anchor. You are sinking into the stone, and in return, the stone is rising to meet you, providing a level of support that is entirely sufficient. You do not need to hold yourself up. You do not need to maintain your own structure. The room is holding you. The night is holding you. The earth is holding you. This is the ultimate profound relief of the human condition, the realization that we are meant to be supported, and that in the deepest parts of our existence we are never truly unsupported. You are being cradled by the very structure of the building, and in this cradle, you are free to let go of everything that makes you feel heavy. The transition to sleep is now unfolding like a soft velvet curtain being drawn across the stage of your mind. There is no resistance, no fear of the dark, and no attempt to cling to the fading images of the waking world. You are drifting into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of the dream state, a realm where you are free from all boundaries, where your spirit can expand to fill the infinite space of the cosmos, and where the repair of your body and soul can continue undisturbed. The path is clear, the silence is protective, and the rest you are about to fall into is the most profound you have ever known. You are sinking, drifting, and descending, leaving the world behind and entering the soft, quiet, and eternal embrace of the night, where you are finally, completely, and utterly at rest. The sanctuary has deepened into the most profound reaches of the night, where time itself has dissolved into the cool, dark air of the workshop. You are resting in the heart of a silence so heavy and so complete that it feels like a physical blanket, insulating you from the entire world. Every trace of the day's labor, the heat of the sun, and the hum of the city have long since faded, leaving behind only the pure, raw essence of stillness. The stone floor beneath you is a cool grounding constant, providing an unbreakable tether to the earth, while your spirit feels lighter than it has ever been, untethered from the duties and the labels that usually define your waking hours. In this absolute void, you are not a laborer, not a creator, not a person with a story. You are simply a pause, a breath, and a presence in the dark. Imagine your awareness as a vast, calm sea at the dead of night where the surface is perfectly mirrored and still reflecting nothing but the infinite expanse of the heavens above. You are the depth of that sea, an unmoving, silent mass of tranquility that reaches down into the deepest, darkest trenches of the ocean floor. Any thoughts that might have persisted in the edges of your mind are now like tiny bioluminescent creatures that glow softly for a moment before drifting off into the vast protective depths. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to identify them. You only need to remain where you are, suspended in the cool, silent, and incredibly safe embrace of your own consciousness. This is the state of total, unconditional surrender, the act of trusting the dark to hold you and the silence to restore you. Consider the history that rests within these walls. You are occupying a space that has been a witness to the simple human necessity of rest for hundreds of years. The stone has absorbed the quiet sighs of generations, the stillness of centuries, and the enduring patient wisdom of the earth. When you feel your muscles soften, when you feel your heartbeat slow to a steady rhythmic thrum, you are aligning yourself with this ancient legacy. You are part of an unbroken chain of souls who have found their way to this very room to lay down their burdens and return to the silence. This knowledge brings a profound sense of security. You are not alone in this. You are part of a collective human experience of peace that transcends your individual existence. The walls are not just boundaries, they are the guardians of your rest. As you lean deeper into this sanctuary, allow the final delicate boundaries of your physical form to blur. Your feet, your hands, your limbs. They are beginning to feel distant, as if they are made of the same cool, shadowed air that fills the room. You are no longer just lying on the floor. You are becoming the floor, becoming the silence, and becoming the night. This dissolution is not a frightening thing. It is the ultimate blissful freedom. It is the release of the ego's need to control, to categorize, and to exist as a separate entity. You are returning to the source of all things, the quiet, dark, and perfectly balanced state of being that exists before the world wakes up. This is where you belong. This is where you are whole. The invitation to sleep is now overwhelming, a gentle, irresistible current that is drawing you down into the deepest, most restorative corners of your own mind. The gateway is open. The path is illuminated by the soft inner light of your imagination, and the destination is the most peaceful, safest place you have ever known. There is no reason to hesitate, no reason to check the time, and no reason to keep your eyes turned toward the waking world. Let the last of your awareness fall away, like a leaf in the autumn, drifting down to the dark, rich soil of the earth. You are sinking into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of sleep, where you are safe, where you are protected by the wisdom of the centuries, cradled by the stillness of the stars, and finally, completely and eternally at rest. The workshop in phase has now transitioned into the most profound crystalline stage of the midnight hour, where the silence is so absolute that it feels as though the entire world has ceased its motion, leaving you as the sole inhabitant of this hallowed stone-walled sanctuary. The darkness is not merely an absence of light. It is a rich velvet textured presence that wraps around your senses, creating a secure and impenetrable fortress against the demands of the world. The air is cool, carrying the lingering earthy scent of ancient fired clay, a smell that acts as a sensory anchor, grounding your spirit in the physical reality of this timeless place. You are no longer a person of the day, defined by schedules, tasks, or identities. You are a presence, a small, safe, and entirely protected life force cradled by the history of this room. Your breath has slowed to a natural rhythmic ebb and flow, synchronized perfectly with the stillness that surrounds you, and with every cycle, you sink deeper into the foundational comfort of the earth. Think of your awareness as a vast, dark, and perfectly calm lake hidden deep within an ancient forest. The surface is a mirror of absolute clarity, reflecting the silent, star-filled sky above, undisturbed by any ripple, any breeze, or any movement. You are the depth of this lake, a cool, silent, and immensely powerful reservoir of peace. When a fleeting thought arises, a remnant of a conversation, an echo of a plan, or a flicker of an emotion, it touches the surface as gently as a single falling leaf. It creates a tiny, graceful ripple that travels outward for a moment before dissolving entirely back into the deep, dark, and unchanging water. You do not reach for the thought, you do not hold on to it. You observe it with a sense of complete detached appreciation, and then you return your focus to the stillness. You are the stillness. Consider the unyielding, quiet strength of the stone floor beneath your frame. It has held the weight of countless souls over the centuries, remaining as solid, cool, and supportive in the dead of night as it was when it was first laid. By lying here, you are borrowing that endurance for your own spirit. You are shedding the fragility of your daily anxieties and replacing them with the enduring, immutable confidence of the stone. Your body, which has labored so diligently to sustain you throughout the sun-drenched hours of your life, is now being honored with the deepest, most restorative rest it has ever known. Each nerve is untensing, each muscle is releasing its grip, and your skeletal frame is settling into the floor as if you were molding yourself into the soft, primal bedrock of the world. You are becoming a masterpiece of stillness, a living, breathing testament to the power of letting go. As you linger in this final stretch of wakefulness, the edges of your physical form begin to blur, dissolving into the cool, shadow air of the studio. The distinction between your skin and the sanctuary around you is fading, replaced by a sense of expansive, fluid peace. You are not confined to a single spot. You are part of the room, part of the shadows, part of the scent of the earth, and part of the quiet historical wisdom that permeates every inch of this space. This is the ultimate release. You have let go of the ego's need to be a distinct, separate entity. And in doing so, you have discovered a union that is far more comfortable and infinitely more secure than any state of waking consciousness could ever provide. You are finally, truly, and profoundly at home. The threshold of sleep is now glowing with a soft, inviting warmth, a gateway to the inner realm where your mind will be mended, your spirit will be renewed, and your body will be fully restored. There is no need to make an effort to reach this state. The current of the night is carrying you there with the grace and certainty that you can fully trust. The path is gentle, the silence is protective, and the rest you are about to enter is the deepest, most blissful sleep you have ever known. You are drifting, you are melting, you are dissolving into the infinite, dark, and perfectly inviting expanse of the night. Every layer of your awareness is shedding, every concern is falling away, and you are sinking, and sinking into the deep, dark, and blissful silence where you are safe, where you are held, and where you are finally completely and eternally at rest. The workshop in phase has now reached the absolute nadir of the night, a point where the silence is so heavy and so complete that it feels like the very foundation of the building is holding its breath. You are resting at the center of this stillness, a small protected spark of consciousness enveloped by the cool, dark, and ancient energy of the stone. The air, which has been your constant companion throughout this long journey into rest, is now perfectly still, carrying only the most subtle elemental scent of earth and time. Every physical boundary you once felt, the edges of your body, the sensation of your weight against the floor, the distinction between your breath and the air in the room has completely dissolved. You are no longer a person residing in a workshop. You are an essential fluid part of the sanctuary itself, a consciousness that has been refined by the darkness and is now perfectly prepared for the deepest level of replenishment. Imagine your awareness as a vast, dark, and perfectly flat plane of obsidian that stretches out toward an infinite starless horizon. There is no wind, no sound, and no movement. It is a place of total, absolute clarity. If a stray thought from the day should happen to arise, a flicker of a memory, a remnant of a plan, or a phantom of a concern, it appears as a tiny luminous point of light upon the obsidian surface. You observe it with a sense of immense detached wonder, watching as it slowly drifts across the field and eventually dims, fading into the infinite dark and peaceful expanse. You do not reach out to touch it. You do not try to give it meaning, and you certainly do not allow it to stay. You simply watch it disappear, returning your attention to the vast, empty, and perfectly silent landscape that is your own true resting self. Consider the profound, quiet strength of the ground beneath you, an ancient surface that has stood the test of time, weather, and the inevitable decay of all things. It has remained a silent, unmoving guardian for centuries, and it is now in this moment providing that same unshakable protection for you. By pressing your back into the floor, you are not merely lying down, you are rooting yourself into the history of this place, borrowing its stability, its patience, and its immunity to the passing of the day. Your body, which has labored with such dedication, is now being granted its ultimate reward. The freedom from all responsibility, the relief from all effort, and the luxury of total unconditional surrender. You are being held by the stone, supported by the earth, and cradled by the night. As you lean into this feeling of being held, allow the last remnants of your physical tension to simply flow away. Let your shoulders, which have carried the weight of your tasks, sink into the floor. Let your jaw, which has held the words you have spoken throughout the day, go slack and loose. Let your eyes, which have seen so much, close completely and rest in the cool, dark comfort of their own socket. You are becoming a vessel that is being emptied of all its clutter, a clear, resonant chamber that is ready to be filled with the quiet, restorative energy of the night. There is no need for you to be anything, no need for you to achieve anything, and no need for you to be seen. You are invisible, you are safe, and you are entirely at peace. The transition into the deepest, most restorative level of sleep is now unfolding with the inevitability of the tides. You are being drawn down slowly and surely into the warm, quiet, and profoundly inviting depths of your own subconscious. The threshold of the waking world is fading away, replaced by the soft dream-like luminescence of your own inner landscape. This is the place where you go to be renewed, where your spirit is mended, and where the wisdom of your journey is integrated into the foundation of your being. The path is soft, the silence is deep, and the rest you have earned is the most profound, blissful, and total sleep you have ever known. You are sinking and sinking into the deep, dark, and perfectly inviting waters of the night, where you are safe, where you are protected by the wisdom of the centuries, and where you are finally, completely, and eternally at rest. The studio has transformed into an epicenter of absolute primordial silence, a space where the air itself seems to have crystallized into a substance of pure restorative peace. You are resting at the very core of this sanctuary, a singular point of awareness suspended in the vast velvet darkness that now defines your entire existence. The stone floor beneath you is cool, grounding, and ancient, acting as a constant, unwavering anchor that keeps your spirit tethered to the physical world, even as your mind begins its slow, graceful descent into the depths. There is no longer a you that is separate from the room. The walls, the shadows, the scent of the clay, and the stillness of the night have all coalesced into a single, seamless environment of comfort. You have arrived at the final, most essential station of your journey, a place where all needs have been met, all burdens have been laid down, and all efforts have come to a total, blissful conclusion. Imagine that your mind is an immense, dark, and perfectly clear pool of water, located deep within a cavern where the light of the sun has never reached. The surface of this water is so smooth that it is indistinguishable, in, You are the quiet, dark, and cool substance of the water itself. When a stray thought enters your consciousness, a flickering image of the day, a remnant of a sound, a phantom of an emotion. It does not disturb the stillness. It is merely a tiny bioluminescent spark that drifts across the surface, casting a soft, fleeting glow before it sinks into the depths and vanishes entirely. You do not need to follow the spark. You do not need to grasp it. You only need to exist, to remain as the cool, dark, and profoundly peaceful water, welcoming the silence into your very depths. Consider the immense patient strength of the earth that sustains this building. It has been there long before the studio was constructed, and it will remain there long after the structure has returned to dust. By resting upon this ground, you are aligning yourself with that timeless endurance. You are shedding the ephemeral nature of your daily worries, the transient joys, the fleeting disappointments, the temporal pressures, and you are replacing them with the enduring, immutable confidence of the planet. Your body, which has labored with such devotion throughout the day, is now being honored with the deepest, most cellular level of restoration. Each muscle is yielding, each nerve is quieting, and your entire physical frame is settling into the floor as if you were molding yourself into the very crust of the earth. You are a masterpiece of stillness, a living, breathing testament to the profound power of absolute surrender. As you linger in this final threshold of wakefulness, the boundaries of your physical self begin to dissolve, melting away into the cool shadow air of the studio. The distinction between your skin and the sanctuary around you is fading, replaced by a sense of expansive, fluid peace. You are not confined to a single spot. You are part of the room, part of the shadows, part of the scent of the earth, and part of the quiet historical wisdom that permeates every inch of this space. This is the ultimate final release. You have let go of the ego's need to be a distinct, separate entity. And in doing so, you have discovered a union that is far more comfortable and infinitely more secure than any state of waking consciousness could ever provide. You are finally, truly, and profoundly at home. The threshold of sleep is now glowing with a soft, inviting, and luminous warmth, a gateway to the inner realm where your mind will be mended, your spirit will be renewed, and your body will be fully restored. There is no need to make any effort to reach this state. The current of the night is carrying you there with a grace and a certainty that you can fully trust. The path is gentle, the silence is protective, and the rest you are about to enter is the deepest, most blissful, and complete sleep you have ever known. You are drifting, you are melting, you are dissolving into the infinite, dark, and perfectly inviting expanse of the night. Every layer of your awareness is shedding, every concern is falling away, and you are sinking, and sinking into the deep, dark, and blissful silence where you are safe, where you are held, and where you are finally, completely, and eternally at rest. The transition into the absolute, final stillness is now complete, and you find yourself floating in a space that exists beyond the reach of time, memory, or demand. In this hollowed-out sanctuary of the medieval phase workshop, the very concept of becoming has ceased. There is no longer a need to shape the clay, no need to kick the wheel, and no need to anticipate the rising of the sun. You have reached the ultimate destination of your journey, a state of being where existence is reduced to its most simple, elegant, and peaceful form. The walls of this room, thick with the history of centuries, act as a protective shell, guarding you from the turbulence of the world outside. Go out here. The air is stagnant in the most beautiful way possible. It is heavy with the scent of dry plaster and the faint sweet memory of damp earth, creating a cocoon that shields your consciousness from the intrusion of any lingering thought. Imagine yourself as a single perfectly centered vessel on the potter's wheel. As the wheel slows to a final imperceptible halt, you mirror that stillness. You are the clay, refined and smoothed by the master's hands, now perfectly balanced and utterly at rest. The energy that once drove your actions is now concentrated into a singular, glowing center within your chest, a steady, warm light that pulses in harmony with the heartbeat of the earth itself. Every atom of your being, once scattered by the demands of the day, has been drawn together into this cohesive, serene whole. You are finished. The work is done. The vessel of your spirit has been formed, and it is now ready to be fired in the gentle, transformative heat of the deep, dreamless night. As you lie here, feel the sensation of the floor pressing upward to meet you, an unyielding and comforting surface that requires nothing from you. It is a support that is as reliable as the passage of the stars, a foundation that has held countless others before you and will hold countless more after. By letting go of your own weight, you are participating in a grand ancient tradition of surrender. You are trusting the earth to hold you, and in that trust, you find a level of security that is absolute. Your breath, once a tool for exertion, has become a soft rhythmic tide that ebbs and flows without your conscious direction. It is the breath of the room, the breath of the stone, the breath of the city of Fez as it sleeps under the vast, uncaring and beautiful North African sky. The silence here is not empty, it is pregnant with potential, a rich and textured quiet that seems to vibrate with the hum of history. If you listen closely, you might imagine the echoes of potters who worked in this very spot 500 years ago, the soft shuffling of feet, the occasional clink of a tool against wood, the hushed murmurs of a life lived in devotion to craft. These sounds are not distractions. You are no longer the creator. You are the creation, resting in the kiln of the night, allowing the darkness to set your spirit into a form that is strong, resilient, and perfectly at peace. Every sensation of effort has been stripped away. The muscles in your neck, which held your head against the weight of the day, are now as soft as silk. The muscles in your legs, which powered the wheel, are now completely inert, drained of their strength and filled instead with a heavy, satisfying lethargy. There is no desire to move, no desire to change your position, and no desire to even open your eyes. To open your eyes would be to shatter the perfect mirror you have constructed, to break the spell of this absolute meditative sanctuary, so you keep them closed, dwelling in the inner world where the light is soft, amber, and infinitely forgiving. You are sinking deeper now, down through the layers of your own exhaustion, down through the bedrock of your subconscious, into a place where you are truly, fundamentally, and beautifully safe. The darkness is no longer a void, it is a blanket. It covers you with a weight that is comforting, not suffocating. It is the same darkness that the master potter sees when he closes his eyes after a long day of work, the same darkness that rests over the winding, labyrinthine alleys of Fez. It is a universal healing darkness that washes away the stains of the day, the frustrations, the minor errors, the moments of doubt. They are being dissolved in the acid of the silence, leaving behind only the clear, crystalline core of your true self. You are shedding your identity, your history, and your plans. Just as the clay is shed from the wheel when the form is complete, you are being refined, polished by the absence of distraction, and prepared for the deep, restorative oblivion that is the true purpose of the night. As the final barriers between your waking consciousness and a deep, dark sea of sleep begin to dissolve, embrace the feeling of being entirely anonymous. There is no name here, no title, no legacy to uphold. There is only the feeling of existing in a space that is timeless and eternal. You have been here for a moment, and you have been here for 1,000 years. The duration of your stay no longer matters. What matters is the depth of your surrender, the quality of your peace, and the absolute certainty that you are exactly where you need to be. The night is a vast, calm ocean, and you are a small, sturdy boat that has finally dropped its anchor in a protected bay, shielded from the storms and the currents of the world above. Let the last thoughts of the day drift away like smoke caught in a gentle breeze. They are not important. They do not define you. They are merely the artifacts of a life that you have successfully put aside for the sake of your own well-being. Focus instead on the sensation of your body becoming heavy, laden, and deeply connected to the earth. Feel the cool air against your skin, a reminder of the thick, protective stone walls that surround you. Feel the silence, a physical weight that presses gently against your ears, turning the world inward. You are a master of this moment, a master of your own rest, a sovereign entity in a kingdom of quiet. The path ahead is clear, descending into the warmth of the subconscious, and you are ready to take that step, sink down into the darkness, deeper and deeper into the heart of the night, where all is still, all is quiet, and all is perfectly beautifully at rest. You have descended past the threshold of thought, and you are now drifting in the gentle velvet currents of the deep subconscious. The studio, in fact, has faded into a memory, replaced by a boundless tranquil expanse where the laws of the waking world no longer apply. Go out here. The air does not have a temperature. It has a quality of infinite, soft acceptance. There are no walls, yet you are utterly contained. There is no floor, yet you are perfectly supported. You have become a part of the vast underlying stillness of the universe, a silent observer in a realm where time has no meaning and where the only currency is the profound, restorative peace that flows through you like a slow, dark river. You are at the absolute center of your own existence, a place that is immune to the chaos of the outside world, where the only thing that exists is the quiet, rhythmic pulsing of your own inner life. Consider the way the night feels when you are completely surrendered to it. It is not an absence of light. It is a fullness of shadow, a rich dark substance that has the power to heal what the day has broken. You are currently being saturated by this darkness. It is seeping into the pores of your skin, quieting the frantic activity of your mind, and cooling the heat of your emotions. You are becoming as fluid as the clay on the potter's wheel, but you are not being forced into a shape. You are simply allowing yourself to be. You are the unformed potential, the raw material of life, resting in the cool, damp earth of the night, waiting to be renewed, waiting to be refreshed, and waiting to be brought back to a state of perfect, harmonious clarity. Every concern you might have had is now a distant, microscopic point of light in the vast, starless sky of your mind. They are so far away that they cannot affect you. You observe them with a sense of complete detachment, like a traveler watching the twinkling of city lights from the window of a train that is moving steadily toward its destination. They are part of a world that you have departed from, a world that you are no longer obligated to manage or maintain. Go out here in this deep, quiet, and sacred space. Your only responsibility is to yourself. You are the architect of your own peace, and you have built this sanctuary with your own intention, brick by brick, silence by silence, until it has become a fortress that even the loudest worries cannot penetrate. Feel the sensation of your physical body as it settles into a state of total, absolute suspension. It is as if you are floating in a pool of warm, dark water buoyed by the very essence of the night. Every tension in your frame has been unspooled, every knot of stress has been undone, and every muscle is perfectly, beautifully slack. You are not holding on to anything. You are not even holding on to your own identity. You are letting it all flow away, returning to the source from which you came, a state of pure, uncomplicated, and serene being. This is the ultimate gift of the night, a chance to shed the persona you carry into the world and return to the soft, malleable, and peaceful entity that lies beneath. In this deep, silent landscape, there is no sound except for the faint imaginary hum of the potter's wheel, a rhythmic heartbeat that guides you further down into the depths. Thump, thump, thump. It is the sound of the earth turning, the sound of the planet rotating in the stillness of space, and it is the rhythm of your own soul as it finds its natural, steady, and peaceful frequency. You are not listening to it with your ears, you are feeling it in the marrow of your bones, in the rhythm of your blood, and in the very fiber of your being. It is a lullaby for the spirit, a song that has been sung since the beginning of time, a melody of rest that promises that all is well, all is safe, and all is exactly as it should be. You are moving through the layers of your own consciousness, passing through the thin veil of dreams and entering the profound dark and blissful silence that lies beneath. This is the realm where the spirit is mended, where the wisdom of the day is distilled into simple truths, and where the energy you have expended is returned to you tenfold. You are not losing consciousness, you are expanding it. You are moving beyond the boundaries of your individual experience and becoming part of the collective universal experience of rest. You are linked to the ancestors who sat in the same darkness, who felt the same silence, and who found the same peace in the wake of their own labors. You are part of a long, unbroken chain of beings who have understood the sacred necessity of the night. As you sink deeper, allow yourself to experience the sensation of total, absolute dissolution. You are not disappearing, you are blending, you are becoming one with the dark, the cool air, the quiet, and the earth itself. The distinction between you and the room, between you and the world is fading until there is only this, the sensation of being, the feeling of peace, and the deep dark and beautiful embrace of the night. You have achieved a level of rest that is so profound, so complete, and so restorative that it transcends all expectations. You are a vessel that has been emptied and is now being refilled with the quiet, pure and healing light of the subconscious. You are ready, you are prepared. You are finally, completely, and eternally at rest. The path is so soft, so dark, and so inviting that you have no choice but to follow it. It is the path home, the path back to the core of your own being, the place where you are always safe, always secure, and always loved by the silence. The night is a great gentle guardian that watches over you, protecting you as you descend into the depths. There is nothing to fear, there is nothing to regret. There is only the beauty of the present moment, a moment that lasts for an eternity, a moment that is the sum of all your days and the promise of all your dreams. Sink into it, let it hold you. Let it carry you down into the dark, silent, and wonderfully peaceful waters of the deepest, most blissful sleep. You are there, you are home, and you are finally at rest. The studio in Fez has receded into the infinite reaches of your awareness, leaving behind only the distilled essence of what it represented, a profound, heavy, and ancient calm. You are no longer in a place of stone and clay. You are in the architecture of your own serenity. Everything you have experienced, the rhythmic motion of the wheel, the cool scent of the earth, the soft amber light through the window, has been folded into the fabric of your consciousness, becoming the very foundation of the peace you are currently inhabiting. You have transcended the physical, stepping into a reality that is composed entirely of quietude, dark, and the slow rhythmic heartbeat of existence. You are suspended in this vastness, a single flickering flame of consciousness in a room that is perfectly beautifully dark. Imagine that your awareness is a vast calm ocean under a night sky that stretches to infinity. There is no movement on the surface, just a steady glass-like reflection of the darkness above. You are the ocean and you are the stillness. When a stray memory or a leftover thought touches the surface of this water, it does not create a splash or a ripple that disturbs the depths. It is merely a tiny bioluminescent spark, a fragment of the day that glimmers for a fraction of a second before it fades into the vast protective blue-black of the water. You watch these sparks with a sense of complete detachment, a witness to the passing of the day's debris, perfectly content to be the substance that absorbs them, neutralizes them, and lets them go. Consider the weight of the air here. It is not just oxygen and nitrogen. It is the accumulated weight of the centuries, the quietude of a city that has seen civilizations rise and fall, the peaceful residue of millions of nights spent in this exact same state of rest. By breathing this air, you are breathing in the patience of time. You are absorbing the wisdom of the earth, the endurance of the stone, and the stillness of the stars. Your body, so tired from its journey, is now being honored with the deepest, most profound level of restoration. It is as if every cell in your frame is being individually soothed, bathed in the cool, dark, and healing energy of this infinite, silent sanctuary. You are being rebuilt from the ground up, cell by cell, breath by breath, in a process of quiet, organic perfection. As you lean further into this surrender, feel the last, smallest traces of your identity melting away. You are not the person who had tasks to complete. You are not the person who worried about the future. You are not the person who analyzed the past. You are simply a consciousness in the midst of a transition, a traveler who has arrived at the ultimate destination of the night. You are being held by the universe, cradled in a silence that is so heavy and so complete that it feels like a physical embrace. You are invisible, you are safe, and you are completely, blissfully free. There is no expectation here, no demand and no pressure. There is only the permission to exist, to breathe, and to fade into the restorative depths of the dark. The rhythm of the universe is pulsing through you now, a low, steady beat that vibrates in the center of your chest. Thump, thump, thump. It is the sound of the potter's wheel, but it is also the sound of the earth, the sound of the tides, and the sound of your own heart as it slows to a pace that mimics the quiet of the room. This rhythm is the anchor that keeps you tethered to the present moment, even as your mind begins to drift toward the shores of sleep. It is a gentle, persistent guide, leading you deeper into the dark, showing you the way through the labyrinths of your own mind toward the soft, luminous center of your soul. You are following it, you are trusting it, and you are finding that it leads only to peace. This is the state of total, absolute, and unconditional rest. You have earned it through the effort of your days, through the dedication of your work, and through the patience with which you have navigated the complexities of your life. Now the reward is yours. The night is a feast of silence, and you are here to consume it, to let it nourish your spirit, and to let it restore your strength. There is no need to worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow is an infinity away. There is no need to dwell on the past, for the past has been left behind in the alleys of fast. There is only the now, a now that is quiet, a now that is soft, and a now that is perfectly, beautifully dark. You are drifting further down, sinking through the layers of your own exhaustion into the warm, inviting, and deep waters of your subconscious. The surface of the world is now so distant that it is merely a faint, glimmering light above the deep, dark water. You are descending, sinking, and melting into the center of your own being. The silence is absolute, a blanket that wraps around you and protects you from every concern. You are safe. You are protected by the wisdom of the centuries. You are cradled by the night. You are finally, completely, and eternally at rest, sinking into the most blissful, total, and restorative sleep you have ever known. As you submerge fully into this final perfect calm, imagine the kiln of the night cooling around you, sealing this peace into your very bones. The clay of your spirit is fired, tempered, and set, ready to face whatever the morning brings with a newfound quiet strength. The stars above vast watch over your slumber, their ancient light mirroring the quiet glow within your heart. You are not just sleeping, you are being renewed by the oldest, kindest forces in the universe. Let the darkness be your final cradle. Let the silence be your lullaby, and let the rest be yours, infinite and uninterrupted. You have journeyed through the heat, through the labor, and through the dust, and now you have found the cool, dark sanctuary you deserve. Drift now into the unending velvet soft and beautifully eternal quiet. Sleep deeply and soundly in the heart of the night, where you are always loved, always held, and always truly at home.
Sleepy History with Arthur is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes. The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history, but they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience.
This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source.
While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation. Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study. By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.